Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, a couple of additional sound tests here to see if this is going to work out. I think we've got a few of the bugs that we were dealing with fixed a little bit tonight. We had some issues, but we had to make a couple of changes. Hopefully, we've got things going in the right direction. So again, for those of you that are looking for our web stream, this is just a test of the sound tonight. We'll be starting our broadcast here in short order.
Valley City State University. Discover yourself here at VCSU. Visit today.
In Valley City, Lisbon, Gwinner, and Enderlin.
Page at LaRue Laco Finance. In the work and standing behind every project.
We aren't meant to be still.
Fralick and Dr. Jangula, 3 of the most educated professional optometrists you'll ever meet.
No further than your locally owned Valley
level, courage when it's needed most.
They're nice, leave us booth and make it.
Smart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City.
And providing access to world-class
is here to help. With over 40 years of
Sanford Health of Valley City is dedicated to transforming your healthcare experience.
When your team, school...
It's unpredictable. And when it disrupts the way you move, it disrupts the way you live. Life is better when you feel empowered to move the way you want, when you want. And that's where our experts come in. We're your guides to orthopedic and sports medicine treatment options.
For those of you that are on the stream, we apologize for going through all of those various commercial announcements. We're still working out a couple of audio bugs. I think we've got things worked out to the point now we're ready to get going. So we're going to do that here in just a couple of moments. Thank you for your patience tonight.
Valley City State University is the top public regional college in North Dakota, as ranked by U.S. News & World Report. Visit today at vcsu.edu/visit.
Quality education, affordable tuition, student opportunities. That's the Viking promise. Valley City State University. Discover yourself here at VCSU. Visit today.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you tonight to the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse on campus of Valley City State University for our latest coverage of Viking volleyball tonight here on the Voice of the Vikings, the Voice of the Valley, NewsDakota.com, and the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. And our apologies to those of you that hung out with us during a couple of technical issues that we had there. We thank you for your patience here this evening as we had to break in a couple of additional pieces of equipment rather quickly due to equipment failure. Isn't that fun when you have technological failure? We deal with it just like everybody else deals with it at this point, and unfortunately, we have to try to work around it. Fortunately, we hope we've been able to work around it tonight, and now we get ready to go for what should be a fun match tonight between Valley City State University and Dickinson State University. A very intriguing matchup between these two that will see both teams looking for some stabilization in different ways. Valley City State comes into the matchup tonight 5-8 overall. They come in with a record of 3-5 inside the Frontier Conference after a match last night that at times felt more like what Bismarck State was doing rather than what Valley City State was doing. Bismarck State, when they were playing well, they were digging up everything that Valley City State threw at them and had Valley City State a little bit frustrated waiting for the second or third play on a rally last night. Dickinson State took home a set in the second set, nearly had the third. The Vikings woke up, though, won the first 8 rallies of the fourth set, ended up going away for a 3-1 victory last night to get their third win inside the league. This Dickinson State University team is going to be an enigma to try to figure out. We'll have a chance to look at them tonight. They received votes just a couple of years removed from having a volleyball team that was really in a rebuild mode. They received received votes in a couple of polls. And then all of a sudden, they've gone on to lose 5 straight matches coming into tonight, including a heartbreaker last night on the road at Mayville State, where they battled back from down 2-0 to give themselves a chance, tying things up 2-2, only losing 15-9 in set 5. And so to come from where they were to where they've ended up in a very short period of time has got to be frustrating tonight for Valley State, or rather for Dickinson State. And so we're going to see what the Blue Hawks have in mind in getting this one going here tonight. Trying to find a way to pick up a win on the road. Obviously, the Vikings looking for a home sweep, but again, when you've lost 5 in a row, you really don't care who's in the uniform on the other side of the court from you. And when the Vikings have been a little unsteady, they might not care either. They're looking to kind of shore things up for themselves. Both of these teams would be tonight before they get ready to try to move on to what's going on elsewhere in the league. Now, as far as our conference is concerned, coming into tonight, you can see on your screen tonight that we've got some really interesting conversations to have. The University of Providence, they didn't play last night. They're currently 7-0. Bellevue was out of the league last night. They won, actually they got beat last night, but it was a non-conference matchup. So they're at 6-1, and right now the number 4 and number 5 ranked teams in the country are continuing their run through the league. But the real big surprise that came last night was Carroll College in a big win. Carroll College gets to 5-3 inside the conference last night as they just stepped up and beat Montana Tech in that matchup and dropped Montana Tech down to 5-3. That was a score that stood out last night between Carroll College and Montana Tech. The Vikings got a win last night, and as we mentioned, Dickinson State University was beaten at Mayville State last night by a score of 3-2 in a really tight matchup. So again, both of these teams are looking for an opportunity to try to stabilize coming into this matchup tonight, and it will be a really big fight between a couple of teams that are desperate for a victory this evening. We're glad you joined us for it here tonight on the Voice of the Vikings, the Voice of the Valley, newsdakota.com, and on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel, part of Homecoming that's going on tonight. And we will have more dignitaries presenting the game ball for this evening. Members of the 1996 VCSU volleyball team will be presenting the game ball to our officials. Part of 100 years of Viking athletics. We're celebrating 100 years of being Vikings throughout the course of this season, and that celebration will continue coming into tonight. Going to take a break in our pregame report brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City. Come back, get ready for our starting lineups and the start to this matchup tonight between Dickinson State and Valley City State. This is our coverage of Viking volleyball on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and on newsdakota.com. Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Laco Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue or Chase Carpenter at 701-845-6938. Securities offered through LPL Financial. Member FINRA, SIPC.
Works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. Let us help you become our next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on 3 major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
We aren't meant to be still. And while you determine the direction you'll go, we're just here to help you along the way. So go. Go with experience. Go with teamwork. Go with neighbors. Go with integrity.
Welcome back to our coverage of Viking volleyball tonight on the Voice of the Vikings, the Voice of the Valley, KOVC, NewsDakota.com, and also at the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. Ryan Cunningham with you here this evening from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse, and we're pleased to have you with us here tonight as we continue our coverage of Viking athletics this evening with Viking volleyball coming up this evening. Of course, tomorrow it's Valley City State University Viking football in the homecoming game for 2025. They'll take on Simpson University and the Red Hawks coming up tomorrow. We're looking forward to bringing you that matchup coming up tomorrow, so do stay with us for that. But we're getting ready for what should be a fun matchup coming up here tonight, and we talk about things that are coming up for the Vikings in the future. Take a look at what Valley City State has in store going forward. It'll be football tomorrow. Then on Sunday, softball's going to take on Lake Region State and Concordia. And on Monday, the Viking baseball team will go to Dickinson State, and they'll be coming back home to take on Mayville State on October 1st. Also over the weekend, or Monday, Tuesday rather, the golf meet that's going to take place. There's going to be a Beartooth invite, and this will be hosted by Montana Western in Laurel, Montana, for the Viking golf team coming up throughout the course of Monday and Tuesday. So very active, but certainly active through the homecoming break that we have going on this week here with the Vikings at home last night in volleyball, tonight again in volleyball, and also coming up for football tomorrow with that homecoming matchup that we have for you. We're looking forward to bringing that to you. Let's take a look at our starting lineups for tonight's matchup, and the starters this evening will look like this. First of all, for the visitors, Dickinson State. At defensive specialist will be Taylor Fisher, a 5'3 senior from Gillette, Wyoming. At the center tonight, Riley Kogelshak, a 5'10 junior from Hardin, Montana. They run a 5'1, does Dickinson State. When we go through the numbers, we'll talk more about that in a second, but Kogelshak very likely to play all the way around coming up tonight. The pins tonight, Kate Floy, a 5'11 freshman from Powell, Wyoming, and Aubrey Allison, a 5'7 junior from Shepherd, Montana. And the middles tonight, Carmen Pallone, a 5'10 sophomore from Hardin, Montana, and Samantha O, 6' senior from Reeder, North Dakota. That's a dual sport athlete at Dickinson State, obviously a basketball standout, a former Miss Basketball in North Dakota, and with the volleyball program for Dickinson State as well. Stormy Simeon is in her second season as the head coach at Dickinson State, assisted by Kaylee Kopp. For the Vikings tonight, they'll line it up like this. Starting center this evening is going to be Madden Bogenreef. Bogenreef will get the nod as she leads the team in assists now after last night. 5'8 freshman from Moorhead, Minnesota, but it's a straight up 6'2 format, so we'll see both setters coming into the matchup throughout the course of the night. Annika Pulyu is going to get a start tonight as a defensive specialist, a 5'7 freshman from Sabika, Minnesota. And yes, you're hearing some young players out there as well. Also tonight, going out on the starting lineup is going to be our libero, J.C. Richter, a 5'9 senior out of Linton, North Dakota. That front row tonight for the Vikings, we'll see Molly Burnaby, 5'8 freshman from Grafton, North Dakota, getting a chance to get on the floor for the first time tonight. Not first time tonight, but being on the floor as a starter in that rotation tonight. She'll rotate with Macy Fridgen, 6'1 senior from Bismarck, North Dakota. And also in the lineup tonight to start for the Vikings as a hitter is going to be number 13, Emma Lucas, a 6' senior from Argusville, North Dakota, for Michelle Micklejohn in her third year as the head coach of the Vikings. Macy Fridgen leading the way this season for the Vikings with 134 kills on the season. And you're talking about a .153 hitting percentage. That's come down a little bit for Macy as of late. Leading hitters for the Vikings as far as percentage, Danielle Hagler had a huge match last night for the Vikings, coming up with a 9-kill, 7-block effort last night against Minot State. I'm sorry, let's try that again. Against Bismarck State College, Danielle Hagler with 9 kills and 7 blocks last night. Morgan Freegene with 12 kills last night for Valley City State. Really nice night. She's hitting .255. Hagler is hitting .293. We're going to take a look at our starting lineups here on the floor coming up in a couple of moments. We'll also have our national anthem, and then the dignitaries that are going to deliver the game ball coming up right after our presentation of the national anthem this evening as well. So we invite you to stay with us here at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse as we continue our coverage of Viking volleyball tonight, and we're hopefully going to have a really nice time this evening. The Vikings and Dickinson State, this one's primed to be a really, really good matchup with a couple of teams that want desperately to get back in the win column. And the Vikings got there last night. Dickinson State turned away in 5, so we're set for what should be a fun matchup between a couple of nice rivals that we'll have this evening. This is our coverage of Viking volleyball on NewsDakota.com and the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel.
Why choose professional eye care centers? 3 great reasons are Dr. Bond, Dr. Freilich, and Dr. Jangula, 3 of the most educated professional optometrists you'll ever meet. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit proeyecarecenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional eye care centers, clearly the best.
Quality education, affordable tuition, student opportunities. That's the Viking promise. Valley City State University. Discover yourself here at VCSU. Visit today.
When you're craving the taste of juicy, flavorful, locally sourced beef and pork, look no further than your locally owned Valley Meat Supply. At Valley Meat Supply, we take pride in bringing you the finest cuts of beef and pork straight from local producers. So whether you're planning a mouth-watering barbecue or a cozy family meal, choose Valley Meat Supply for the highest quality, locally grown beef, pork, and award-winning jerky, sticks, and sausage. Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City. Your taste buds will thank you.
At CHI Mercy Health, we believe human kindness is at the root of all healing, providing care on a human level, courage when it's needed most, and a connection that's ever present among us all. Human kindness is meant to be shared. It puts a smile on someone's face and seeks to do the same for others. Take the time to nourish what's inside and watch your life flourish outside, because taking care of yourself is an act of human kindness. Just like human kindness, happiness can come from the most unexpected places. Whether it's from your friend, your dog, or a memory, embrace it and pass it on. CHI Mercy Health of Valley City.
We welcome you back to our coverage of Viking volleyball this evening. The alumni getting a word tonight from our public address announcer as they welcome the Viking alumni back to campus for our homecoming festivities. And tonight we'll have a look at our starting lineups from Dickinson State coming up here, and also for Valley City State. And then we'll have the presentation of the game ball coming up this evening. Let's take you through the numbers in this one tonight and give you an idea of who to watch this evening. First of all, for Dickinson State, we're going to be interested to see what kind of offense they truly run this evening, because they've got some numbers that are spectacular in some spots. Aubrey Allison coming into the night with 170 kills, their leader, 166 hitting percentage. She also plays back row, 142 digs on the season, and 19 kills last night against Mayville State. She had 22 digs last night as well. So there's one player that goes all the way around. Another will be Riley Kogelshak, who we talked about as their setter. 509 assists. Dickinson State getting behind the 5-1. The Vikings ran the 5-1 rather well during Sadie Hansen's term as a Viking setter. And Kogelshak will go all the way around tonight. 509 assists. She's got 54 kills, 240 digs on the season. 145 digs, rather. 145 digs and 28 blocks on the year. I mean, that's an all-around player that's tough to ignore for Dickinson State. Kogelshak, a junior out of Hardin, Montana. And at 5 feet 10 inches tall as a setter, if you're athletic, you can really be that dual threat weapon when your rotation is in the front row, and Dickinson State's using that to their advantage coming into tonight. Leading hitter is Carmen Pallone, hitting .299 on the season. She also has 46 blocks. Those will be some of the players to watch tonight for Dickinson State. For the Vikings, 134 kills for Macy Fridgen, 122 kills and 293 of the hitting percentage for Danielle Hagler. Right now, she's probably having the best front row season out of anybody, but Morgan Frigie right behind, 255 hitting percentage and 50 blocks on the season as well. They had Hagler for 7 blocks last night to go with 9 kills in that matchup. But one of the things that are worth mentioning tonight for the Vikings is the lack of some depth, or rather balance. Maybe it's not depth, maybe it's balance. The Vikings have plenty of teams that can get there, rather plenty of players, I should say, that can get this done for them. But when you get past Fridgen, Hagler, and Frigie, and you're looking for that next hitter, Rosie Anderson out of the lineup with an injury right now, Ellie Lucas hitting .058, Emma Lucas hitting .089, and Molly Biernaby, who hasn't had nearly as much time as perhaps some of her Viking counterparts, hitting a negative .027 at this point. So what the Vikings are looking for is that opportunity to kind of balance things out. Tonight you can see at center court members of the 1996 Viking volleyball team presenting the game ball to our officials tonight. That's outstanding. It's part of 100 years of Viking athletics, 100 years of the Vikings that's being celebrated throughout the course of the season. And our dignitaries tonight are members of the 1996 volleyball team who are here in attendance tonight. Last night it was Vanessa Coca, the former head coach at Valley City High School, current assistant coach, and the mom of Katie Coca, who's having an outstanding high school season and will be a VCSU Viking coming up this fall, following in mom's footsteps. And tonight, members of that 1996 volleyball team, and it's good to see them here as alum for Valley City State as part of homecoming week. Now the teams will shake hands and we'll get ready to get this one started here this evening. Hall of Fame inductions are going on throughout the night as well for VCSU. We'll see more about that coming up tomorrow at Viking football against Simpson University. That kickoff is set for tomorrow at 2 p.m. And we'll have a parade coming up at Valley City tomorrow that will start at 10:30. And so all the homecoming festivities that you're looking for are going to be found right there on Central Avenue in Valley City. All right, we'll get this started. Starting rotation's going to have Kogelshak in it. And Kogelshak for Dickinson State going to take a front row spot in this starting rotation as well. We'll also see Taylor Albrecht, the defensive specialist, in the matchup. And it looks like the entire front row for Dickinson State is going to stand off to the side and allow the back row to pass. And they've got several back row players. That's one of the strengths for Dickinson State. They are deep in the back row. They may run a 5-1, but they've got several players that can pass. That'll be a strength for them coming up tonight. J.C. Richter to serve for the Vikings as we are underway. Kogelshak with a second contact dump for the Blue Hawks and a block on a return coming from Danielle Hagler. Now Phrygian from the outside into the net. She hit the antenna. That'll be an error and a point to Dickinson State. Blue Hawks will take the opening lead 1-0. Macy Phrygian looking for a chance to swing from the outside. Ends up putting one in the antenna. And a 1-0 lead for the Blue Hawks. Let's get you on to a look at our scoreboard here tonight. Apologies for that. And the Blue Hawks will serve for the first time. Off the right pin, Lucas getting through contact, but a dive out of the back row from the libero to keep this afloat. That was a nice play for Ashton Egan. Another play by Hagler, another dig by Egan, and up front a push that's blocked. Hagler and Phrygian getting up for that. Now the Blue Hawks try back on the outside with Aubrey Allison. Back to the outside for the Vikings. That's down for Macy Phrygian from the far side of the floor. And the Vikings will tie it up at 1 apiece. So the Blue Hawks send in yet another back row player, one that we weren't looking for tonight. Taylor Gare, defensive specialist out of Newell, South Dakota, a junior having an opportunity to play early, and that's not one of the several back row players that we got ready for tonight. Ball to the right pin, and a try for Emma Lucas. That's touched for Dickinson State. They'll come back to their outside. Big swing, and Delaney Clark got a piece of it. The Vikings save it, but Freegee can't make the adjustment. Sends it into the net. Point for Dickinson State. 2-1 Blue Hawks in the early going. And Samantha Ose will step into the front row for Dickinson State. Carmen Pallone will go to the back row now for the Blue Hawks. And Pallone with the serve. J.C. Richter making the pass to the right pin. Lucas having to tip. Long run to get there. Kogelshak made contact with it. Off to Aubrey Allison, who will tip at last moment. Delaney Clark trying to set for Phrygian. She goes through contact and scores. Vikings tie it up at 2. And we'll see a change as Ellie Lucas will come into the matchup for the Vikings. Gracie Schumacher will go to the back row for Valley City State and do the serving. 2-2 after 4 rallies on our LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. And the lefty serves. Taken right side by Ashton Egan. Up front, Ose attacking the middle. A dive out of the back row. Kept it afloat for Schumacher. Swing on the right side by Lucas. Through a touch and down. The Vikings will take a 3-2 lead. If Emma Lucas, Ellie Lucas, if they can get active on the pins tonight, that's going to be a big help for the Vikings. They need to develop that player that can keep a block away from some of the heavy eddies that are up in the front row for Valley City State. Back off to the near side. Another swing coming from Aubrey Allison. Vikings got a touch on it. Lucas now having to run and tip simultaneously. Dickinson State with it. Back to Allison trying to go deep. Delaney Clark was there to make the play. Phrygian from the outside, down again. Macy Phrygian coming up with the play. 4-2 Vikings after 6 rallies. And the Vikings have now won 3 consecutive points. Gracie Schumacher set to serve again for Valley City State. choosing an angle towards the far line, playing middle as a lefty. Samos making the pass. Correction, that was not Ose. My apologies, folks. That pass came out of the back row from Taylor Gare. And a ball goes into the net, and an attacking error by Dickinson State makes it 5-2 in favor of the Vikings. And Schumacher will go back and serve once again. Another pass from Gare. Taken back towards the middle, and Ose had that set in the wrong spot. Ends up pushing it long. It's now a 6-2 lead for the Vikings. And the issue in that situation, that set, just not where Samantha Ose wanted it, way out in front of her. She had to reach behind as well, so she was planning on something a little bit more to the middle of the floor, and that one kind of hugged aside. On the right side, Phrygian attacking. Dive by Gare kept it afloat out of the back row. Another play for Allison through traffic and down on the far sideline. Aubrey Allison, 170 kills coming into the night, the leader for Dickinson State. And Allison will stay up front. We're going to see Riley Kogelschak go to the back row, so now the setter with her first rotation in the back row. You would think this is where Dickinson State's offense will form up. There's a dump from Schumacher on second contact. Schumacher scores to make it 7-3. The Vikings go up by 4. Again, with your setter in the back row, even if you're confident with a 5-1, with your setter in the back row out of that 5-1, this is really where you have a lot of really solid weapons at the net, or so you would think. Ball coming off towards the near side. They'll have to free it back over. Comes back with Ashton Egan. A little short. The Vikings weren't ready. A block on a play coming from Molly Bjornaby. Vikings get it back. Back to the right pin. Frigi off a touch. Dickinson State rallying to it. They'll set towards the right pin as well. And a big play out of the back row for the Vikings coming from Schumacher to dig that up. Bjornaby sends it back over. Kogelschak sets, pushes off to the right side, and that will score on a tip from Michaela Albrecht. Dickinson State's Michaela Albrecht will score. Michaela Albrecht, 103 kills on the season coming in. Had a nice night last night against Mayville State. 8 kills, 3 assists. She's hitting .236, and you can see why. Sees the floor well. Uses it vertically rather well. Aubrey Allison back to serve for Dickinson State. Set middle and Frigi into the net. Point to Dickinson State. 7-5. The Viking lead at 1.4 has been cut to 2. Aubrey Allison back to serve for the Blue Hawks. Allison ready. And the serve on the way for Dickinson State. Low line drive. Delaney Clark got there. Outside Bjornaby off a touch. Stays alive in the back row. Run down by Allison. Back up to the attack line. Good swing from Kate Floyd. Back over to the right. Bjornaby will push one across. Kogelschak first contact. They've got a set with the libero. Back row attack down for Aubrey Allison. Boy, that's a nice play for Dickinson State. Aubrey Allison comes up with a back row attack. See if we can take a look at this again. The ball stays back on the attack line. They were in a broken formation there out of system, so they turn it back over to Allison out of the back row. And Allison comes up with the spot needed in that situation. 7-6 Dickinson State, back to within 1 of the Vikings. Kogelschak setting back to the right side. Big swing from Kate Floyd. Vikings correspond, and there's Bjornaby painting the back line. Vikings back up 2 at 8-6. So the Vikings get back up to a 2-point margin after 14 rallies of the first on our LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. And Annika Pulyu will step in and serve for Valley City State. Back near side again. Floyd off a touch will score. Kate Floyd, 108 kills on the season. Trying to firm up her season as well. Coming in with a relatively low hitting percentage, .088. And the Blue Hawks would like to get her going because she's a very athletic player in that front row for Dickinson State. Vikings lead by 1 after 15 rallies, and Dickinson State will do the serving. Vikings up front, big swing from Danielle Hagler, defeating a block, going right into it and scoring. We see another back row player coming in for Dickinson State. Macy Wheeler, sophomore out of Great Falls, Montana. We got ready for a back row lineup that included Taylor Fisher, who started, but also Geraldine Fernandez and Abigail Bettis. Neither of them have played yet. This is a really deep back row team for Dickinson State. As Madden Bogenreef serves with the Vikings leading by 2 at 9-7. Floyd from the attack line. Bogenreef first contact. Vikings trying to adjust out of system, and a big swing from Bjornaby that goes long. Cuts the Viking lead to 1 at 9-8. Last night's first set for the Blue Hawks in Mayville, 1 extra points. Mayville State won it 28-26. And that was part of the Blue Hawks going down 2-0 before rallying to force a fifth set in that one. Lucas court wide. A dive out of the back for Ashton Egan to keep it afloat. She'll have to send it back over as well. Vikings there. Contact to the right. Hagler swings to the right pin and scores. Danielle Hagler coming out to the right. The Vikings did a little of twisting their middles last night, but really more Freegee than anybody. We don't see Hagler on the right pin a lot. We barely see Macy Frigin in that spot, and the Vikings are perhaps looking to open up that spot on the floor by flexing a little bit more of their heavy artillery out for a play or two there. Kogelschak going to get a tough pass, and Floyd will tip across for Dickinson State. Back to the far pin. Frigin finds the near sideline. Vikings take an 11-8 lead. Pretty good crowd here tonight for Valley City State, despite being a Friday night. Got a decent student section here this evening. But a good hometown following here on this side of the floor as well. J.C. Richter ready to serve for the Vikings. Taken up, and they go short game, speed it up and score. That was a nice play for Dickinson State's Carmen Pallone. Set coming that time from Kate Floy. So there's a wrinkle for Dickinson State where Floy sets Pallone. When you got a 5-1 going, if Kogelschak's in the back row, you're looking for another opportunity up front to do some setting, and Floy really stepped into that role nicely. Back right side, Lucas attacking, will score. Emma Lucas with a kill from the right pin. Vikings go back up by 3 by a score of 12-9. Vikings will serve. Dickinson State receiving. Ball back to the near side, and defeating a block and scoring for Dickinson State is Aubrey Allison coming back into the front row. Aubrey Allison scores to cut the Viking lead to 2 at 12-10. Carmen Pallone will go back to serve for Dickinson State. Serve on the way. Back row, Delaney Clark making the pass. Set far side, Frigin blocked at the net. Point to Dickinson State as the Blue Hawks come up with the first big block of the night up front. A team-up effort. Combining for that block, Dickinson State, Aubrey Allison. And I believe over on that side, Kogelschak got up and got a piece of it as well. And that's part of her game, even as a setter. Short game right side, but the set-off line for Frigin. And up front, now a short game as well for Dickinson State as Sam O swings through a ball. Back to Frigin on the outside. She defeats contact. Dickinson State looking to keep it afloat out of the back row. Sent back over by Gare. Vikings playing it again. Back to Frigin from the outside. Tough pass coming on that. Vikings will score. Frigin gets the kill. Lead back to 2 at 13-11 for Valley City State. Blue Hawks receiving votes in a poll recently and then dropping 5 consecutive matches, including last night's 3-2 heartbreaker. The Vikings had a tough Montana road trip going 1-3 in a week stay out in Montana. Rallied for a win over Bismarck State last night. Tip coming back over from Aubrey Allison. The Vikings cover and a whistle. We've got a ball that apparently was an illegal attack against Valley City State. And Michelle Micklejohn, they're going to call an illegal set by the libero, and now they're going to overrule it and work this into a replay. So J.C. Richter was called for setting the ball, and I believe the rule is you can't set the ball to a front row player if you're the libero. And J.C. Richter said, I did not set the ball, and the official calls for a replay of the rally. Schumacher serving, it's a let serve, and back up front, Ost trying to get off contact. Richter dives to keep it afloat, and it's Frigin from the outside that will score. Really nice broken play. Macy Frigin comes up with the kill to put an end to it, but that's a heck of a broken play for the Vikings as you take a look through this. A dive just kind of kept it afloat, and you get a really nice pass back over from a back row player to put that one away for the Vikings. And the Vikings have taken a 3-point lead that'll be cut to 2 as Dickinson State gets a kill against a tough play out of the back row. Riley Kogelschak will go back to the serving for Dickinson State, 14-12. The Vikings leading by 2. Back pedal for Ellie Lucas to make the play. Frigin on the right pin will score. That time the Vikings swing Macy Frigin out to the right pin. She comes up with a tally. The Vikings back up 3 by a score of 15-12. Get some numbers for you here at this point. 5 kills for Aubrey Allison to lead the way right now for Dickinson State. No one else with more than one. Danielle Hagler has 2. Phrygian should get her second here in just a couple of moments. Vikings lead by 3. Big swing for Aubrey Allison. That's wide. The point will go to Valley City State. And the Vikings now up by 4 at 16-12. Matches their biggest lead of the opening set. Hannah Whelan doing the serving for the Vikings. Whelan serve deep towards the back, picked up. That time by Ashton Egan. Big swing off the right pin that will score for Dickinson State. A let into the net for Micaiah Albrecht. Another break that goes the way of the opposition. For those of you that weren't here last night, every ball that went to the net from Dickinson State flopped over. They never went down. So they knew what they were doing using the net last night, and the Vikings were probably flummoxed a bit by that ball coming over the net over and over again after it goes in. Aubrey Allison serving would have been close. The Vikings play it. Freegee blocked on the right pin. Double team effort. Floyd getting up with Ose. Ose 31 blocks on the season. Floyd not really factoring into the blocking situation for Dickinson State that often, but gets a piece there. And the Viking lead trimmed to 2 at 16-14. Another serve from Aubrey Allison. Pass from Delaney Clark. Freegee trying to tip. That one sent way up into the stands. No chance for Micaiah Albrecht to react to it. Freegee gets the kill. Vikings back up 3, 17-14. Late moments of the opening set here. And the Vikings will have Annika Pulju going back to do the serving. Taken out of the back row again by Ashton Egan. Big swing across that time for Sam Ose that will score. Ose gets the side out for Dickinson State in the middle. 17-15, Blue Hawk lead, or deficit rather, cut to 2. And we'll see Macy Wheeler coming back into the matchup for the Blue Hawks. Wheeler set to serve. Serve on the way, taken up out of the back row by Annika Pulju. Back to Bjornaby, having to tip. Set was a little high for her. First contact from Kogelschak. Boy, Dickinson State way out of system. They couldn't get a set. When your setter touches it first, you got to react to the play, and Blue Hawks had some trouble doing that. Macy Wheeler, sophomore middle, out of Great Falls, Montana. She'll come out, and the libero will come back into the matchup. Vikings up 3 at 18-15. And Valley City State will send Madden Bogenreef back to do the serving for the Vikings. Floyd, near side, a dive, pushed it back to the net, tipped over by Bjornaby. Dickinson State has it back. Up front, swing and score that time from Carmen Pallone. Boy, Dickinson State, actually, no, correction, that ball's going to be long will be the call. My apologies. And Dickinson State's going to call a timeout. That's a big turnaround in the matchup. The Vikings get a call to go their way, and Valley City State leads by 4 as we have a timeout on the floor here at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. We'll come back with more in a couple of moments, so stay with us. This is our coverage of Viking volleyball on NewsDakota.com and the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel.
Hi, this is Clint from Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City, your only locally owned pharmacy since 1989. When you're locally owned, you care about your community and your customers. We offer a great selection of gifts and toys, as well as yarns, fabrics, sewing, and crafting. We are here for you from 9 to 5:30 weekdays and Saturdays 9 to 1. For all your pharmaceutical needs, give us a call, 845-5280.
Health Mart, taking time to listen and care.
Sanford Health of Valley City is dedicated to transforming your healthcare experience and providing access to world-class healthcare right here in America's heartland. We're committed to improving the human condition at every stage of life through exceptional care, spiritual enhancement, innovation, and discovery. Schedule your appointment today at Sanford Health of Valley City by calling 701-845-6000 or self-schedule online at mysanfordchart.org. Sanford Health, here for all, here for good.
Welcome back to the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. Valley City State leading Dickinson State 19-15, and on the Rulaco Financial scoreboard, tip coming from Micaiah Albrecht. The Vikings return on second contact from Bogenreef. This will be set back to Albrecht, right pin. Big play out of the back row by Annika Pulju. Right pin, Lucas going towards the back row. Albrecht, actually, correction, that was Allison that was able to dig that up. Dickinson State blocked at the net. They come back to Albrecht. And again, Madden Bogenreef making first contact for the Vikings. Lucas, right pin again. Sends it to the back row. Aubrey Allison coming up with the first play. Floyd, who swung well tonight, comes up with a play for Dickinson State. That's a big side out that the Blue Hawks needed coming out of the timeout. Lead cut to 3 at 19-16. And Dickinson State will send Taylor Fisher back into the matchup. You don't come up with that rally, it's looking pretty bleak. The Vikings have led by 4 a couple of times, never by 5. Fisher's serve is a service error. Lead back to 4 at 20-16. And Valley City State right now trying to take a big turn into some friendly territory here that would give them an opportunity to perhaps take some control of the later stages of this set. Little tip coming on the right side that time from Ose, and a big swing and score coming that time up the middle from Danielle Hagler. Hagler will score to make this a 21-16 lead for Valley City State. That's a big, big play for the Vikings. Another here, they might start putting the finishing touches on a set 1 victory. A short serve coming that time from J.C. Richter, and a swing that goes too long from Kate Floyd. Another timeout remaining for Dickinson State. Not stepping to use it as of yet. The Vikings now lead by 6 at 22-16. J.C. Richter back to serve again for the Vikings. Good low serve taken up by Fisher. This will come back to the attack line, and a miss hit by Kate Floyd. Boy, the hitting has just fallen apart for Dickinson State, and they're going to have to take another timeout. Blue Hawks struggle out of their timeout, pick up a rally, and then not much. Vikings widen their lead to 7, 23-16 on our LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. We have a timeout on the floor. This is our coverage of Viking volleyball on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and also at newsdakota.com.
When your team, school, or business needs custom apparel or promotional products, Rambo is here to help. With over 40 years of industry-leading experience, state-of-the-art machines, and dedicated employees, we have the tools and facility to handle any job. With online ordering solutions for sports teams and businesses alike, you can count on us to get the job done correctly and on time. To get your next project started, contact Matt or visit us online at rambo.com.
Welcome back to our coverage of Viking volleyball. Coming up, our intermission report will be brought to you by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good. And at the intermission report, we'll go through the numbers from the opening set, as well as a chance to show you some of the highlights of set number 1 here tonight as well. 23-16, Valley City State by 7. This was tight right up till the last few moments of this opening set, and the Vikings have begun to pull away as the Blue Hawks have made several errors, have not been able to get the ball in the court. J.C. Richter serving away. Fisher comes up with a play. Floyd from just above the attack line. Annika Puliu dug it up but freed it back over. Back up front, big swing and score down the middle from Carmen Pallone. Blue Hawks win a rally out of the timeout and turn away the Viking momentum for a moment. 23-17. The Viking lead trimmed to 6. And we'll see Gare coming back into the matchup for Dickinson State to serve. Back row, J.C. Richter making the pass, set middle, and a big play again from Hagler. However, a nice pass to send it back by Dickinson State. Now the Vikings out of system. Lucas from the right pin, a dive laying out to get at Ashton Egan. And a tip off the near side by Aubrey Allison. The Vikings trying to run it down. They can't. The point goes to Blue Hawks. We saw that time after time last night. We mentioned 9 kills for Danielle Hagler last night, but it could have been 19. She had several swings that just kept being dug up. She was unable to find the right mark. They'll set to the outside this time, Frigid into the net. Or is it a block? It'll be a block that goes wide. Okay. The Vikings will take that, and the Viking crowd will come to their feet with the Vikings leading 24-18 and looking to go up a set to none in the matchup. Delaney Clark serves. Pass from Fisher into a quick dump up front from Kogelschak, the setter in the front row, showing you what she can do. Running the 5-1, but Kogelschak, an offensive weapon and an all-around player. And that time got one that she could handle at 5'10". You go up and put that down when you have the opportunity. Pallone will serve for Dickinson State. Delaney Clark backpedaling to it. This is set right pin. Lucas a run to get at it. Covered back row by Gale. And Ose up front powers through a block and scores. The Blue Hawks deny the Vikings on their second try at the set. And the lead is 24-20 for Valley City State. Another serve coming from Pallone for the Blue Hawks. And it lets off the net. J.C. Richter is there to make the play. Set middle. Quick turn out of the middle by Frigid. That time playing the third spot on the net tonight for Macy Pridgeon. And a kill will come through on the near side. That time from Pallone. Correction, not from Pallone, from Aubrey Allison. And that's going to force the Vikings into a timeout. So Valley City State will take a timeout as they've been denied on 4 straight, including 3 straight, to try to close out the set. 24-21. Valley City State leading by 3. But Dickinson State with the momentum. We're back with more in a couple of moments.
Orthopedic pain is limiting. It's unpredictable. And when it disrupts the way you move, it disrupts the way you live. Life is better when you feel empowered to move the way you want, when you want. And that's where our experts come in. We're your guides to orthopedic and sports medicine treatment options that can manage your pain, rehab your injuries, and restore your confidence. Take back the freedom to move. Explore your orthopedic options at Sanford Health.
Timeout taken by Valley City State. They took a 7-point lead, 23-16. It's now 24-21 as the Blue Hawks have denied the Vikings on 3 straight tries to try to close out the opening set. And the Vikings used their first timeout of the first in a pivotal moment as Carmen Malone will go back to serve for Dickinson State. Malone serve, Delaney Clark getting a pass. Bogenreef up front, back setting right pin. Lucas covered. Gale was able to get to it out of the back. Back up front, that one goes into the net. No, it does not. They're going to say play on. The Vikings get a block and now have the ball back on their side. Pridgeon trying to go court wide, missed it. The Blue Hawks turn away another set point. And if you're Valley City State, you're allowing the Blue Hawks to build momentum and you're down to 2 tries left to try to close this thing up tonight. Serve on the way again from Pallone. J.C. Richter making the pass. Bogenreef setting middle. And Freegee tipping and scoring. Morgan Freegee comes up with a final play for Valley City State to close down the opening set. A play that the Vikings needed. 25-22. Valley City State gets the opening set victory. And they'll lead a set to none on our LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard as we get ready for the second. We'll come back with our intermission report next. It's brought to you by our friends at Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good. This is Viking Volleyball on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and at newsdakota.com.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. Let us help you become our next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
Looking for a college experience where you can get a degree and make a difference? Valley City State University is the top public regional college in North Dakota, as ranked by U.S. News and World Report. Visit today at vcsu.edu/visit.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Laco Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue or Chase Carpenter at 701-845-6938. Securities offered through LPL Financial. Member FINRA, SIPC. We go to set number 2. Our intermission report tonight brought to you by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good at Rambo. Rambo is your home for the promotional products and attire that you're looking for. When it's time to put your logo to work, put it to work with Rambo. They're ready to take care of anything that you're looking for when it comes down to promotional products or promotional attire. They'll get it done right, get it done the first time. Call Matt, who is a VCSU alum. Rambo, we're in the business of making you look good. Tight first set in that matchup tonight. The Vikings pull away late, then hold on for a 25-22 win, leading at one point 23-16 before the Blue Hawks rallied down the stretch. We mentioned where the Vikings built the lead, it was Dickinson State making errors more so than Valley City State really powering their way to the lead. Let's take a look at how it happened. Opening set, this is Aubrey Allison. This is Dickinson State in a broken situation. Allison with just a terrific back row attack. She was huge in the first set. for Dickinson State. The Vikings come back with some play of their own, getting a touch here, and they keep a broken play alive. And Macy Frigid from the attack line up and over some contact to make a play for the Vikings in the interior. And it comes to an end this way. Morgan Frigi running the middle and just tipping, finding some room in the middle for Valley City State. And the Vikings take the set and take a lead in the matchup by a score of 1-0. Right now they've got Macy Frigid for Valley City State with 8 kills to lead the way. Danielle Hagler with 2. And Morgan Frigi with 1. And for Dickinson State, 6 kills for Aubrey Allison and 2 a handful of different ways. As we start the second with Dickinson State serving, and a big swing again by Danielle Hagler. She's dug up by Fisher, and off the far side, Allison getting the first opportunity for the Blue Hawks in the second. She'll score. Numbers as far as the team is concerned, Vikings hit 244 in the opening set. Dickinson State hit 191. You wouldn't know about either of those numbers. The Vikings did terminate fairly well. The real big stretch, Dickinson State was hitting well. Here's an ace. That'll come from the back row by Gare to make it 2-0 in favor of Dickinson State. The really big stretch, Dickinson State had 3 or 4 rallies in a row late where they just hit the ball very poorly. One went wide, one went long, another went very long. And that was what turned that set around. Otherwise, when Dickinson State was hitting, they were pretty good. J.C. Richter with a tough pass. Frigid trying to make it work and sends one wide. And a quick start for Dickinson State in the second. They lead 3-0. Tomorrow, Viking football here on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. The Vikings will go up against Simpson University and the Red Hawks. Here's a service error by Gare. And Dickinson State will turn the ball back over to the Vikings on a side out. Taylor Gare doing the serving there. Newell, South Dakota product. I know Newell really, really well. And those of you in the western part of the state or western South Dakota, you got to know Newell if you're going to travel that road. We see a ball on the right side of the floor. Delaney Clark trying to set Lucas from the right pin. Back to the outside and a block that time coming against Allison. It'll be sent deep by Dickinson State. Good run by Clark to get there, and Frigi tipping middle. Covered. Back off to Aubrey Allison over a touch. J.C. Richter was there to dig it up. Back to Frigid trying to paint the line. That was touched by Dickinson State. The point will go to the Vikings. Newell, South Dakota, right up the road from Spearfish. Actually, rather from Sturgis, my apologies. And my dad lives in Chadron, Nebraska, so when I go down to visit him, that's a clear path back for me. Big swing and score, this time from the right pin for Carmen Pallone. You go through Newell, and from there, there's a little tiny town called Riva in northwest South Dakota. And if you know Riva, you know turtles and you know ice cream. On the near side, Frigid will turn and score. From the outside for Macy Frigid, and the Vikings get back to within 1 by a score of 4-3. Talking with a couple of colleagues that hunt in that part of the country, and they said everybody knows Newell and everybody knows their ice cream. Big, soft serve ice cream machine. They'll give you a cone that's about 10 inches high, and it's about $4, something ridiculous like that. It's an unbelievable treat when you're traveling through southwest North Dakota, northwest South Dakota. Tipped by Frigid, sent back over by Ose. Redirected right away by Ellie Lucas. Back off to Allison as she hits it wide. Aubrey Allison misfiring to the near side. And we're tied at 4 on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Here in the second set after 8 rallies, the Vikings leading by a set. Won the opener 25-22. Schumacher's serve is long. Vikings trying to serve aggressively. And end up pushing one beyond the back line. And Dickinson State will have Riley Kogelschak going to the back row to serve. Taken off the near side by Lucas on the pass. Frigid off a touch. And Dickinson State will get there just enough by Gare to keep it afloat. Allison touched on her way across. Valley City State with it. Frigid outside, gets through traffic and scores. Macy Frigid beginning to swing the ball pretty well tonight for Valley City State. 5 apiece. The Vikings tie things up here in the second set. And J.C. Richter will step back to do the serving for Valley City State. Richter standing ready. Serve on the way. Back row, they'll send it back up front. This will be Micaiah Albrecht trying to get around traffic. Vikings dug it up, middle, and through for Molly Biernaby. The youngster, the freshman out of Grafton, North Dakota, stepping into the middle. You can see her confidence continuing to grow. You would think pin, 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 and that's where her size is at, but that time the Vikings brought her near the middle, looking for an opening they found they were looking for. The Vikings lead by 1 at 6-5, but a short serve from J.C. Richter, trying to do too much with that. That'll tie things up at 6 apiece. Side-out volleyball between these two so far in this second set, with the matchup tied at 6 each. And Aubrey Allison will step back to serve for Dickinson State. Pass coming from Bjornaby, right side, big swing by Ellie Lucas. Another dive out of the back row by Allison to keep this afloat. And we mentioned their all-around players are really good. Kogelschak sent it over. Freegie's blocked on the right pin. It's covered by Delaney Clark from the attack line. Bjornaby gets through traffic and scores. Molly Bjornaby making an out-of-system play work for Valley City State. What a play for the youngster who's getting more and more time all the time. Watch this play for the Vikings. They keep it afloat on a bit of a pinball, and Bjornaby just powering through the middle. Forget that 5'7", 5'8" stature. She comes up with a big play. The Vikings lead by 1. Sam Oss right through traffic and scoring for Dickinson State. That'll tie things up at 7. Molly Bjornaby getting a chance to play for the Vikings due to the injury. With Rosie Anderson right now, the Vikings needing to flex some depth at the pins. And Bjornaby scoring that time in the middle. Hagler having to wait for a set that time from Schumacher. Ball ends up on the attack line, and Albrecht will get through contact and score. Micaiah Albrecht will make it 8-7 Dickinson State. 2 in a row for the Blue Hawks to reclaim the lead. And the Blue Hawks have Macy Wheeler back to do the serving. Wheeler standing ready, and the serve on the way. Far side, Pouliou into a free ball at the net, can't be saved. Dickinson State takes a 2-point lead here in the second. Vikings won the opener 25-22. Big night for Macy Friggen in that first set. Right now, Dickinson State keeping things close and taking a 2-point lead in the second. Hagler getting through and scoring. Vikings need a lot more of that, and sometimes in the sport of volleyball, you're going to get blocked. And I know that in talking with Viking head coach Michelle Mickeljohn, she's told her team that there are going to be times in volleyball where you can't fear the block. You've got to play the block. You've got to be aware of where it is, but you can't start trying to go all the way around it all the time. Sometimes you got to go right into it. Danielle Hagler's not afraid to do that. Madden Bogenreef will step back with the Vikings trailing by 1 here in the second. Bogenreef serving. This is picked up by Floy. Comes back to the right pin. Big swing from Albrecht. Vikings counter. Bjornaby blocked but covers her own. Bogenreef will set middle, and Hagler trying the middle. Off a tip that's taken up by Egan. Now a push by Albrecht again towards the middle of the front row. Bjornaby from the outside, strong. Point will go to the Blue Hawks. 2-point lead for Dickinson State now in the second at 10-8. And Taylor Fisher will come back into the matchup for Dickinson State. Not a whole lot to really break down and analyze in this one so far. It's been pretty matter of fact. Nothing has jumped off the page as far as something that's going to lead. Lucas swinging away. That will score. Ellie Lucas from the outside. One thing you can say, it seems like the Vikings have found a bit more balance, but that balance is deceptive when you take a look at the numbers right now for Valley City State. They've got Friggen for 11 kills, but Bjornaby with 4, Danielle Hagler with 4, and 2 from Emma Lucas on a service error by the Vikings. But you're beginning to see some of that balance move itself around for the Vikings, getting a little bit more production from the pins, which they're going to need. Macy Friggen can't run the pins by herself, and obviously the middles can do what the middles can do, but that'll be a focus point for the Vikings to try to balance things up. This one comes to the middle for Friggen. She swings away and scores. Macy Friggen's played all over tonight for the Vikings. We've seen her swing right. We've seen her swing middle. That's probably a pretty good wrinkle for the Vikings to use. If it's going to be Friggen, move her around because the block's going to follow her. And so will the back row setting up for her. Delaney Clark serves it into a joust at the net, won by Freegee. Morgan Freegee comes up with a joust at the net. Quick play for the Vikings to tie things up at 11 apiece here in the second set. Dickinson State will adjust their receive game. They're going to bring 4 back deep. Side-winding serve. Fisher got to it. They'll back set the right pin. Big swing coming that time Off the right pin from Comer Pallone. Covered by the Vikings and sent back. Now Pallone in the middle will score. Carmen Pallone swing from the right, then moving to the middle. And the Blue Hawks take a 12-11 lead. Like we said, not a lot of momentum really for either team here in the second set. The Blue Hawks may be just a hair ahead. That's why they lead on the board. But a service error will turn it right back over to the Vikings. But there hasn't been that long rally or those moments where you're going to see one team really step up and take some control at this point. You would expect an even matchup out of these two. You're getting it tonight. Schumacher will serve. Schumacher's serve on the way, taken by Gare out of the back row. Back off to Allison. She'll score down the far sideline. Schumacher can't get to it. Gracie Schumacher and Madden Bogenreef each coming into the night with 99 digs. Bogenreef now with 245 assists coming into tonight. And 241 for Schumacher. Bogenreef just a freshman. Kind of the second setter out of that 6-2, but she's performed really well this year. Freegee tipping. And a cover by Gare to keep it afloat. Another play coming from Kogelschak. The Vikings have to run offense again, and now Freegee into the net, sliding right pin. A lot of that again last night. Boy, the defense that's on the other side of the floor against the Vikings this weekend has been very effective. We saw that from Bismarck State last night. They covered everything. And Dickinson State's made a few additional plays have to work, and they've usually got the best of them. Phrygian threw a touchdown. Macy Phrygian's having a night. Phrygian puts that one away around contact. Makes it 14-13. Dickinson State leading by 1. Vikings need a block here. Freegee and Ellie Lucas up front. It's a young front row right now. Lucas and Bjornaby, couple of freshmen up in the front row for the Vikings. Back off to the right. Allison gets around traffic. Delaney Clark was able to make the play. This stays on the attack line. Lucas sends it over. A running start to get to it for Egan. And now from the right pin, Albrecht getting around contact. Schumacher the first touch. And a free ball coming over that time from Bjornaby. Dickinson State up front. Samantha Ose attacking and scoring. Interesting rotation here for the Vikings. Freegee out there as the leader. You don't have Hagler here, and you don't have Macy Phrygian, and you don't have Emma Lucas either. So a couple of freshmen that Morgan Freegee's trying to get through this rotation right now. Serve on the way from Aubrey Allison. Dump coming from Schumacher, covered and pushed by Samantha Ose. The Vikings respond. Back to Bjornaby on the outside, mishit it. Valley City State's going to need a timeout. Dickinson State takes a 3-point lead here in the second. 16-13. The Vikings down 3 now in the second set, with Valley City State leading a 7-0 after a 25-22 win in the first. We have a timeout on the floor. This is Viking Volleyball on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and NewsDakota.com.
Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on 3 major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
We aren't meant to be still. And while you determine the direction you'll go, we're just here to help you along the way. So go. Go with experience. Go with teamwork. Go with neighbors. Go with integrity.
(16-13), Valley City State trailing the Blue Hawks by 3 here in the second set. The Vikings trying to find their way back into it after using a timeout, but Freegee's blocked on the right side. That's a huge block for Kate Floyd coming out of the stoppage. Floyd just going up and meeting Freegee in that situation, and big power play for Floyd getting out to the Vikings' right pin. They try to go to the right. They do that quite often coming out of a rally, and Dickinson State was ready for it in that situation. While they clean up the floor, let's take a look at it again. Pretty good set coming here to Freegee. She had everything in front of her, and that's just Floyd going up and winning a one-on-one battle against Morgan Freegee. And when you've got that assignment, that's a tough assignment. Service error from the Blue Hawks. Their 4-point lead will be trimmed to 3. at 17-14 Dickinson State. But now the Vikings have to respond. Danielle Hagler coming back in. First rotation putting some of that front row pop back. You'll see Phrygian coming up here in a couple of moments. Serve dug up, back to the right side. Big swing and score again for Kate Floyd. Boy, Floyd's impressive. 5'11" freshman out of Powell, Wyoming, and she's got everything that the Frontier Conference really likes to look for in a volleyball player. That's something we noticed about teams from the Frontier at the national tournament a couple of years ago. They don't just want them tall, they want them big and physical. And Floyd has that look. She's got athletic skills, but she can be very physical at the net, and pretty coveted player that Dickinson State was able to land, and Floyd sends one over free ball. Here's another play by Hagler, and again, dug up off the far side of the floor. Allison will send it back. The Vikings have to run their offense yet again. Back to Bjornaby. That time she scores. Molly Bjornaby makes it 18-15. Valley City State gets back to within 3. Lucas comes back in, so now you have Emma Lucas back at the net. Can the Vikings find a play to get a couple of these back and force some momentum change here? Madden Bogenreef back to serve. Be set back up the middle. Swing coming in by Pallone. The Vikings able to counter. Lucas right pin. Covered back row by Aubrey Allison. Back set to the right. Albrecht blocked and down. The Vikings team up, and it's the youngster again, Molly Bjornaby, stepping in and getting part of a block that time with Danielle Hagler. And the senior gives the freshman some props after the block. 18-16. Valley City State back within 2. Serve coming from Bogenreef. Deep but playable. Taken by Floyd. She wants it back. Right side down. Correction, outside and down. Another immediate termination by Kate Floyd. 19-16. The Blue Hawks back up. If you're the Vikings here, get a side out. Get a block back. Try to cut this back down to 1. It's the path right now. Taylor Fisher doing the serving for Dickinson State. Back set Bjornaby on the right pin. Covered out of the back row again by Allison. Floyd again around traffic. This time J.C. Richter dug her up. Back to Lucas on the right side. Covered again by Allison. And up front, another swing to get through for Pallone. Vikings go to their right a couple of times, and each time Aubrey Allison was there. All-around player, 142 digs for Allison coming into the night to go with 170 kills. That was 2 digs for the leading killer for Dickinson State, showing you her all-around status. Blue Hawks lead by 4. And a swing coming in on the right side here from Danielle Hagler. They had another ball roll into the court as well. J.C. Richter received it, and now Hagler tries to push deep. Allison runs down yet another. Back to Floyd around traffic. Richter diving to make a play on it. Bjornaby calls for it. Little miscommunication. Emma Lucas has to send over a free ball. This will be set to Floyd outside. Another big dig, this time for Annika Pulju for the Vikings. Bjornaby off a touch. Covered back row by Allison. Floyd again trying right pin, block, push deep, score it. The Vikings get a push against them from Riley Kogelshak, who hasn't factored into the offense much for a while, but reads the back row up, and the Vikings call for timeout as Dickinson State takes a 5-point lead. 21-16, the Vikings by 5 on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. We have a timeout for our friends at LaRue Laco Financial. We're back with more next.
Why choose Professional Eye Care Centers? 3 great reasons are Dr. Bond, Dr. Freilich, and Dr. Jangula. 3 of the most educated professional optometrists you'll ever meet. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit proeyecarecenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional Eye Care Centers, clearly the best.
Quality education, affordable tuition, student opportunities. That's the Viking promise. Valley City State University. Discover yourself here at VCSU. Visit today.
Vikings trail by 5, 21-16 to Dickinson State. Welcome back to the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. Vikings trying to hold on to a 7-0 lead, but right now we'll need a big run as the Blue Hawks are in control of the second. There's a swing by Lucas, turns into a joust. Hagler wins it. Danielle Hagler gets a big play for the Vikings. Hannah Wieland into the matchup for Valley City State. Macy Frigian comes in as well. Vikings need a rally. They need it here. Down by 4, need a big block here on a couple of occasions as Wieland serves. Good hard serve. Taken by Egan. Big swing off the right side by Floy into a joust at the net that's won by Frigian. Nobody saw that coming. I think Dickinson State saw that ball going wide, and Frigian was able to go up, put an extra hand on it, and set it down. The Vikings get one big play. They're back within 3. Hannah Wieland set to serve again. Wieland serve taken. Aubrey Allison out of the back row. Back to Floy, this time on the outside, blocked. Covered by Dickinson State. Floy again, blocked again. Another block that gets covered by Egan, but that block will score. Egan got a piece of it, but too wide on the return. Big block for the Vikings, shutting off that outside pin. 21-19, Vikings back within 2. Can they get another here and perhaps force a Dickinson State conversation? Hannah Wieland to serve again for the Vikings. Good hard biting serve again. Pass up front, right there, getting through a block and scoring, Carmen Pallone. Pallone comes up with a big terminator right into a Viking block. Lead 22-19 for Dickinson State. And they'll send Taylor Gare back in to do the serving. But before there, Madden Bogenreef is asking for relief as she's got a shoe that needs to be tied up. 22-19, Valley City State leading by 3. I'm sorry, trailing by 3, my apologies. Leading a 7-0 after winning the opener. 25-22, Dickinson State had a rally in them. At the end of 1, can the Vikings find one at the end of 2? J.C. Richter making the pass. Bogenreef setting middle. That goes into the net. They're going to play through it. Dickinson State thought they had 4 contacts. Instead, they're going to win the point anyway. Dickinson State was lobbying for a whistle after Danielle Hagler's attempt went to the net. The lead is 4 for the Blue Hawks at 23-19. And Taylor Gare will step back to serve again for Dickinson State. Back row, Bogenreef was there, set back towards the right. Lucas around traffic. Covered by Fisher on the near side of the floor. Allison trying to tip deep. Bogenreef made first contact with it. Back again to Lucas off a touch. Gare covering back row. Little tip up front. And that's going to score. Big read up front from Carmen Pallone. And it will be Dickinson State with chances to close out the first. They lead 24-19. Do the Blue Hawks. And Dickinson State with a chance to grab a set back and make it an even matchup. Last night, the Comets won the first 2, including a first set in extra points against the Blue Hawks. Blue Hawks rallied to win 3 and 4. Tonight, Dickinson State trying to get into the act a little earlier. Serving the way from Taylor Gare. Back row run down by Annika Pulyu. Set right side, Hagler scoring off the right pin. Valley City State may need to do more of that. Hagler will come out. We don't see the middles flexing the right pin very often. And I suppose after a while it takes away from some of the other things you want to do. But 24-20, they seem to have success when they run that play. Outside, Allison scoring. Aubrey Allison just terminates it for Dickinson State. And when the Blue Hawks are hitting tonight, the Blue Hawks are hitting. 25-20, Dickinson State comes up with the win in set 2. To tie up the match. It'll be a set apiece as we make our way into set number 3. Stay with us. We'll come back with more in a couple of moments from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. We'll have our intermission report brought to you by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good at Rambo. We'll have more with our intermission report, including some highlights next, right here on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and newsdakota.com.
When you're craving the taste of juicy, flavorful, locally sourced beef and pork, look no further than your locally owned Valley Meat Supply. At Valley Meat Supply, we take pride in bringing you the finest cuts of beef and pork straight from local producers. So whether you're planning a mouth-watering barbecue or a cozy family meal, choose Valley Meat Supply for the highest quality, locally grown beef, pork, and award-winning jerky, sticks, and sausage. Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City. Your taste buds will thank you.
At CHI Mercy Health, we believe human kindness is at the root of all healing, providing care on a human level, courage when it's needed most, and a connection that's ever present among us all. Human kindness is meant to be shared. It puts a smile on someone's face and seeks to do the same for others. Take the time to nourish what's inside and watch your life flourish outside, because taking care of yourself is an act of human kindness. Just like human kindness, happiness can come from the most unexpected places. Whether it's from your friend, your dog, or a memory, embrace it and pass it on. CHI Mercy Health of Valley City.
Intermission report tonight. It's brought to you by our friends at Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good. Matt Carlgard, VCSU alum, former coach here at Valley City State, and wants to take care of Viking fans and fans all throughout the region. No matter your team, put your logo to work for you with Rambo. Rambo can take care of your promotional products as well as your apparel. Rambo, we're in the business of making you look good. Dickinson State comes back. Very even first part of that second set, but the Blue Hawks in that second always seemed to have just one more answer than Valley City State did. And the Vikings couldn't find an answer to Dickinson State's back row. Once again, something we saw in the second set last night against Bismarck State, that back row play from the opposition really leading things towards their result. Dickinson State dug up a lot of balls. Let's go through it. What did it look like early in that set? Molly Burnaby finding her way back to the middle, just defeating a block and scoring. The freshman getting more and more time and more confidence all the time. But Kate Floyd showed us some things. A freshman that's going to be huge. There's Floyd just going up and taking on Morgan Freegene and coming up with a stuff for Dickinson State. And the match, or the set rather, comes to an end with somebody that we've said the name of a lot tonight. Aubrey Allison collapsing towards the middle, but from the outside, puts one away for Dickinson State. And the Blue Hawks take a one set draw after the matchup. We're tied at 1 after they win it 25-20. Individual numbers. Dickinson State has 9 kills from Aubrey Allison tonight. Carmen Pallone now has 5. Kate Floyd, Samantha Ose each with 4. There's that balance that we're talking about. Macy Frigin, 13 kills tonight for the Vikings. Danielle Hagler, 6. And right now, Molly Burnaby with 5. Third leading killer tonight for the Vikings. Former Grafton spoiler. I see this once in a while. For those of you that are taking a look and seeing the scoreboard tonight, no, we are not in overtime. I saw that the other night at a different venue as well, where sometimes the scoreboard doesn't talk the way that you want the scoreboard to talk, but clearly we do not have overtime in college volleyball. We have extra points in each set, but we do not have overtime. J.C. Richter will serve with Valley City State and Dickinson State tied at 1 after 2 sets tonight. Richter serving. Taken off the far side of the floor by Gale for Dickinson State. They'll back set to the right. Carmen Pallone trying to get through traffic did. Frigin tipping towards the middle. A cover by the Blue Hawks, and again, they get a long run to get to it. Kogelschak runs it down. The Vikings have to run offense again. Frigin kills. Macy Frigin gets one in her wheelhouse and puts it away. That's the kind of play that the Vikings haven't had tonight, and really the last couple of nights, is after the opposition runs one down that you wouldn't think they'd get to, do the Vikings have the wherewithal to come back and run their offense again? That time they did. 1-0 Valley City State. Ball back near side. Allison gets off a touch. Saved by Bogenreef off the surface. Pouliou will send over a free ball. Second contact dump. That's too easy for Kogelschak. The free ball from Pouliou just meant to keep the play going, but didn't really get a lot of clearance, didn't get it up to the back row, didn't make Dickinson State think a lot, and they have their full menu of options in that situation. Serve on the way from Aubrey Allison. Taken back row by Pouliou, and Frigin gets through contact and scores. It'll be net contact against the Blue Hawks anyway. Sam Ose in the net. Vikings lead 2-1 after 3 rallies in the third on our LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Saying welcome back to all the Viking alumni that are coming in for homecoming this weekend. Those Hall of Fame members that are here, so awesome to see them back in town as well. Ose tipping blocked. Ose goes up to get a tip, and Frigin puts it away. The transfer out of the University of Jamestown, Macy Frigin. Vikings have been happy to have her on a really loaded University of Jamestown volleyball club. Won a national tournament a few years ago and was looking to play a little bit more. Might have struggled to get some playing time there. Near side of the floor, big swing by Aubrey Allison. Vikings get a dig from Richter, but a tough set that time. And a play for Morgan Freege can't make it over. Blocked at the net by Samantha Ose, and Dickinson State gets one back. For as much as we've talked about the Vikings having a lot of experience on the floor, they're young in some key areas. Madden Bogenreef, who's playing really well this year, but a freshman. Molly Biernaby at the net, freshman. Ellie Lucas, a freshman. Serve goes long from Dickinson State. And Michelle Mickeljohn, head coach of the Vikings, is really not at all concerned about hitting the junior college level, because right now this team is loaded with sophomores and freshmen. That really seems to be the makeup of this Viking team. Or I should say rather seniors and freshmen. And so when you're looking to pick up a piece, you go back and national tournament run for the Vikings. Marty Skutching's coming in and giving the Vikings a great opportunity up front. That was the difference in the team getting to the Tyson Event Center down in Sioux City. Ball on the right side, Albrecht getting through some traffic into touch. The Vikings respond back to the right, and tough play at the net. Was contacted up front. They're going to be a no call here, and there could have been a lot of calls there, but they're going to no call it at this point. Kogelshak will send it over on a free ball up front. Freege hit it long. They're going to call a touch. Line judge on the Vikings side of the floor saw a touch on the way through, and the Vikings take a 5-2 lead, give Freege a kill. Coming up for the Vikings, Simpson University tomorrow. Softball on Sunday, baseball on Monday, some golf Monday and Tuesday. You know, with the way that they do things nowadays in the NAI, playing baseball and softball in the fall, limited schedule, there's always something going on, it would appear, athletically on campus, right? Allison getting off a touch and scoring. Aubrey Allison with a kill off the outside for Dickinson State. Blue Hawks back within 2 here in the third at 5-3. We're tied at a set apiece. The Vikings won the opener 25-22. Second set went to Dickinson State 25-20. Serve on the way, this time from Allison. Dug back over the net and dug wide. Or I should say passed over the net and passed wide. And just like that, it's 5-4. Terrific all-around numbers for Aubrey Allison coming into the night. You could see that. She's been as good in the back row tonight as she's been in the front row. In that second set, she was probably more valuable in the back row than she was up front. Frigid through contact, scoring again. Vikings go back up 2 here in the third at 6-4. You saw play after play that was made in the back row by Aubrey Allison for Dickinson State in the second set, and those were the plays that turned things around for the Vikings, or rather for the Blue Hawks. Hannah Whelan to serve. Turned an even Stevens set into something that was big. Samantha O swinging and scoring down the middle for the Blue Hawks. Lead is 1 for Dickinson State at 6-5, and once again we see the teams kind of settling in for what you would call almost the volleyball equivalent of a battle of attrition between these two. Side-out volleyball, right? Maddie Wheeler sending one over. The Vikings, it's a let serve. Freege attacking. That one's going to score. Morgan Freege winding up, going deep. The Vikings will get a point. I said Maddie, my apologies. Macy Wheeler for Dickinson State. 7-5. The Vikings back up by 2 here in the third. Annika Pulju will step in and serve for Valley City State. Pulju ready, and it's a service error. Annika Pulju is new to the Viking program, freshman, Sabika, Minnesota. One of those freshmen that we're talking about. 7-6, Dickinson State back within 1, and they'll send Fisher back to serve. Line drive serve, Biernaby struggling to get a piece of it. Did. Ellie Lucas will free ball it over. Dickinson State, another 2-tempo attack from Kogelshak. The setter in the middle of the front row, and you got her as a weapon out front in that 5-1. And when you can do that, you know, right now the coaching staff from Dickinson State giving her an atta-girl, and they know that when you do something like that, you just change up the way a team has to defend you. You show that your 5-1 doesn't have a weakness. You're going to go up and you're going to attack the volleyball with your setter. And what we've seen already tonight is that Kate Floyd will step in and do the setting. If first contact comes from Kogelshak, they're pretty comfortable with some interchangeable parts. Up front, Lucas into the net. That'll be an error, and Dickinson State will take the lead at 8-7. And really the box score for Dickinson State would show interchangeable parts. when you take a look at the players that are up in triple figures in kills on the season. As the Blue Hawks serve, taken back row by J.C. Richter. Big swing coming up from Danielle Hagler for the Vikings. Floy back to it for Dickinson State. Covered back row by Pulju Birnaby from the outside is blocked. That's down. Block for Kogelschak. You look through those numbers for Dickinson State. Micaiah Albrecht, 103 kills. Coming into the night, 54 for Kogelschak as the setter. 114 kills for Carmen Pallone, 170 for Aubrey Allison, 108 for Kate Floy. You got 5 quality hitters, and they're going to be able to take a lot of different positions around the net. Right now, the Blue Hawks have established momentum again. They lead it by a score of 9-7 here in the third. We're tied at a set apiece. We've got more coming up as we continue with our coverage of Viking volleyball here on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and newsdakota.com.
Lever's Foods, best quality, best price. Lever's Foods, best service, they're nice. Lever's Foods, they make everything right.
All this week, shop the fall kickoff sale at Lever's and save on General Mills cereals, 2 for $6. Campbell's condensed soups, 4 for $5. Our family barbecue sauce, $1.89 each. Our family potatoes, 5-pound bag, just $1.99. And pork loin rib chops, only $2.99 a pound. Delivery is available by calling 845-1732. Lever's Foods, Valley City.
Dickinson State comes on to take a 2-point lead here in the third. It's 9-7 Blue Hawks in a match that's tied, a set apiece. The Vikings had a lot of momentum at the end of the first, led 23-16, but ever since Dickinson State got back in rhythm and cut that down to a 2-point margin, it's been Dickinson State's momentum, and right now they lead by 2 as they serve out of the Viking timeout. Set middle, and Hagler touch, that'll score. Danielle Hagler gets off of contact and scores for the Vikings. Cuts the lead to 1 at 9-8. Out of the timeout, Macy Fridgen, 16 kills tonight for the Vikings. Hagler now with 8, 5 apiece for Bjornaby and Freegee. 1-point lead for the Vikings, rather for the Blue Hawks at 9-8. Madden Bogenreef will do the serving here. Pass coming from Allison. Floy blocks. Covered out of the back row by Ashton Egan. Back to Floy up and over the block this time. Richter was there. Dump coming in from Hagler. Covered in a run to the middle by Egan. Floy from the attack line into the net. That'll tie things up at 9. And not saying this because of just where we're at with a couple of rallies going the other way, but Dickinson State has been their own worst enemy. When the Vikings have had success, the Blue Hawks haven't hit well. And I'm not sure that the Vikings have done a ton to keep that the way it is. Here's a swing and a score right through the middle for Carmen Pallone. It just seems like at times when Dickinson State has been hitting, they've been lights out. And at times they've kind of missed. I don't know that the Viking defense has done a ton to affect that tonight. They've done some, obviously, putting up a block, making them work around it. Vikings set again. There's Hagler. Danielle Hagler putting one down on the far sideline. Getting away from some traffic from Dickinson State. The Vikings get a side out, tied up at 10. Even after 20 rallies here in the third. We said it's a battle of attrition here in the third set. It's definitely all of that right now. J.C. Richter serving. Heads back up towards the front, and Allison gets stuffed. Into a joust, pushed deep and scored. How about Kogelschak seeing that play? That's a heck of a play for Riley Kogelschak to go up and see. And that's your setter always keeping her head up, right? That's your setter who's looking to score, that has the ability to just kind of read the floor the entire way. Hagler the pass, set back to Fridgen, going after the middle. A dive out of the back row, sent it back. Back to Hagler this time, she'll score for the Vikings. A moment ago, take a look at this play once again from Riley Kogelschak. It comes back on the block. Kogelschak sensing the defense had come up and just went right after a spot that she could tell was open. And that's what you get when you have a player that can keep their head up and watch the entire floor the entire time. Right now, 11 apiece. Swing coming off the near side from Aubrey Allison. Fridgen trying to go down the line. She'll score. The Vikings take a 12-11 lead here in the third. Before that, Fridgen was hitting .379, now up to .400 on the night. 17 kills for the senior, Macy Fridgen. Man, has she had a night tonight. Serve on the way over. Samos tipping. Covered. Emma Lucas was there. Fridgen again. This time tipping middle. And it scores. They'll say the pancake come up short from Aubrey Allison. The Vikings have found some momentum. They're back up 2 by a score of 13-11. Tied at a set apiece. Pivotal moments here in the matchup. Conference matchup in the Frontier tonight. It's be set near side. Aubrey Allison tipping. Phrygian reaches back to get to it. Pushed deep that time by Madden Bogenreef. Now Dickinson State struggling with it, but Sam Ose makes a play on a free ball. Dumped back across by Madden Bogenreef. Big play for the Vikings to score. And that'll force a Dickinson State timeout as Madden Bogenreef comes up with a big play to give the Vikings momentum and bring the Viking crowd to their feet tonight. We have a timeout taken by Dickinson State. It's 14-11 Vikings in the third. We're tied at a set apiece. This is our coverage of Viking volleyball on the Voice of the Vikings, the Voice of the Valley, NewsDakota.com, and on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel.
Hi, this is Clint from Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City, your only locally owned pharmacy since 1989. When you're locally owned, you care about your community and your customers. We offer a great selection of gifts and toys, as well as yarns, fabrics, sewing, and crafting. We are here for you from 9 to 5:30 weekdays and Saturdays 9 to 1. For all your pharmaceutical needs, give us a call, 845-5280.
Health Mart, taking time to listen and care.
Timeout taken by Dickinson State tonight. Valley City State leading by a score of 14-11. The Frontier Conference would like to thank their corporate partners for continued financial support. That includes BSN Sports and Nike, Cooper Tire and Tire-Rama, the D.A. Davidson Companies, Irk Hotels, First Interstate Bank, Billings Clinic and Logan Health, McDonald's of Great Falls, Northwestern Energy, Pepsi and the Harrington Bottling Company, Snap Mobile, Winwan Technologies, and the Montana Army National Guard. Uncommon is calling. Vikings leading 14-11. Tip from Aubrey Allison. The Vikings trying to respond. Lucas block. That's going to score. Big block up front for Sam Ose and Dickinson State. Don't forget to download the Frontier Conference app in partnership with Snap Mobile. The app is free to download. Just search for FC Sports in the App Store on Apple or Google Play for Android. 14-12. Lead cut to 2 for Valley City State, and they'll slow it down to clean up the moisture on the floor again. There'll be more of that if the October temperatures stay the way they're supposed to when the volleyball season recommences, at home anyway. The Vikings have travel coming up for the next couple of weeks. However, when they're back at home, it's going to be a matchup or 2 or 3 or 4 over at Gratian Gym. And the field house will be empty except for the basketball team. Free-G tipping for Valley City State. Kogelschak covers. This will be sent back to Allison, who gets blocked, and that's down. Big block up front. Free-G teaming up with Macy Phrygian. Huge block for the Vikings. Vikings back up 3 at 15-12. And the block is such a big part of what Michelle Micklejohn wants to do with her team. When that's absent, and the Vikings didn't have a great night blocking last night, it's going to be a struggle for the Vikings to get what they want. Schumacher serving for Valley City State. Ose winding up and just destroying a ball right down the middle of the floor. Sam Ose putting one away for Valley City, rather for Dickinson State. Lead cut to 2 at 15-13. And we'll see Kate Floy coming back into the matchup now for the Blue Hawks. This is a good front row for Dickinson State right now. Serve on the way from Aubrey Allison. And the pass very offline. Free-G attempting to save it. And we'll see Lucas getting it just inside the antenna. Dickinson State running offense, and Sam Ose hit it long. Point will go to the Vikings. That's a point the Vikings are more than happy to get. The pass was not great. Free-G ran down in front of the table, and Dickinson State had a plethora of opportunities. And they end up going long with them. 16-13. The Vikings by 3 here in the third. Hannah Whelan set to serve for Valley City State. Near side, it's Floyd taking the pass. Goes back to the right now, Albrecht. And the pass from Schumacher turns into a joust that Free-G wins for Valley City State. Big play for Morgan Free-G getting up through a joust and scoring for the Vikings. And the Vikings are up 4 at 17-13. Crucial time here in the third set. The Vikings trying to build momentum. Whelan sends this one a little deeper, and the pass a little tougher this time. Towards the net, Dickinson State saves it. Free-G getting through a block and scoring. Vikings come on strong to take an 18-13 lead here in the third set. Morgan Free-G. A couple of back-to-back plays for the Vikings. One out of a joust, the other there. Straight kill Whelan serving again down the middle. Taken on the far side by Egan. They'll go up front. Floyd got blocked. It was tough for Floyd in the first place. Back to the right. Albrecht strong. Point goes to the Vikings. 19-13. Blue Hawks have a timeout left to use. Right now, no movement to take it, but Dickinson State having some problems with momentum. Whelan set to serve. Service error. That might break it up. Boy, that's the savviness there. Stormy Simeon walking the sideline for Dickinson State, choosing not to take the timeout, trying to save it. If you can come back and get this one down, there's some key rallies coming up in the third. Didn't want to take the timeout. Gets the service error. Wheeler back into serve for Dickinson State. Vikings setting middle. Freegee tipping middle and scoring. Morgan Freegee with another big play. Lead is back to 6 at 20-14. That's a great rotation across the front row for the senior out of Edmore, North Dakota. Former Cardinal from Langdon area. Wore the same color scheme all the years of her varsity career. We are certainly happy she did that for the last 4. Serve going right down the middle, rather attack for Pillow, and the Vikings counter, and Lucas finding the back line will score. Ellie Lucas comes up with a play for the Vikings. The lead is 7 for Valley City State, 21-14, as they catch some fire late in the third. Annika Poulju back to serve for the Vikings. Poulju sending it deep. Backing up on it was Aubrey Allison. Off to the right. Attack and score off the right pin for McKay Albrecht. Dickinson State gets one back. Now if you're the Vikings, a side out so critical. You've built the momentum. The last thing you want to do is let a team that's wounded get back into this like they did back in the first set. We'll see Taylor Fisher in to serve. Good hard line drive serve. Richter was able to make a decent pass of it. Sent back over. Another big swing down the middle that's going to score for Carmen Pallone. Lead cut to 5 at 21-16. Pallone's had a pretty nice night this season, or rather tonight. 8 kills, hitting .389. Really nice percentage of the regular hitters right now. Pallone has the greatest percentage for Dickinson State. Aubrey Allison has 10 kills. Her hitting percentage, though, .194. Riley Kogelshak has 5 kills and 6 attacks tonight and 30 assists. Kogelshak had 50 assists in last night's matchup with Mayville State and did other things as well. Serve from Albrecht. Another tough pass. Tipped across the net. A big play for Schumacher, but they're going to call an illegal attack in the front row. Schumacher, a back row player, they'll say she attacked the ball above the net. And Michelle Mickeljohn's not happy with the call. That one's a tough call to make, but the lead cut to 4 at 21-17. You're going to see that call almost all the time when the setter makes that play. The attack from Hagler, dug up right side by Albrecht. Back off to the near side for Floyd. A reach by Richter, able to get to it. Hagler on second contact sent it over. Second contact try for Kogelshak. Richter there. Outside, Biernaby will score. Molly Biernaby wins a big broken play for the Vikings. The Vikings turn away some Dickinson State momentum, make it 22-17. Madden Bogenreef will serve for Valley City State. Vikings looking for 3 here if they can get them. Try to take a 2-1 lead in the matchup. Bogenreef serving, flat serve, very little spin. Blue Hawks dealing with it at the net. It'll be tipped over by Kate Floyd. Stays on the right pin. Lucas attacking middle. The pass up front, it's tipped back over by Kogelshak. Vikings respond, but this time Biernaby blocked at the net. Pallone, Kogelshak teaming up to take away the outside. Lead cut to 4, 22-18. Dickinson State will serve. Blue Hawks will send back Taylor Gare. Again, a couple of Blue Hawks that were on the lineup sheet tonight that we just haven't seen. Geraldine Fernandez and Abigail Bettis. Big numbers so far this year. Bettis is on the sideline, but we haven't seen her enter the matchup yet tonight. Ball on the far side. Hagler turning one down for Valley City State. What a play for Hagler. Danielle Hagler with a big kill for the Vikings in a spot where they really needed something to go their way, and Dickinson State will call for timeout. Here's the play for Hagler. Going to the outside. We don't see Danielle do that very often. We'll see her twist right. That time they hide the middle and the outside. The Vikings get a kill. 23-18, the Vikings by 5. We have a timeout on the floor taken by Dickinson State. We're back with more Viking volleyball in a moment. on newsdakota.com and the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel.
When your team, school, or business needs custom apparel or promotional products, Rambo is here to help. With over 40 years of industry-leading experience, state-of-the-art machines, and dedicated employees, we have the tools and facility to handle any job. With online ordering solutions for sports teams and businesses alike, you can count on us to get the job done correctly and on time. To get your next project started, contact Matt or visit us online at rambo.com.
23-18, the Vikings leading by 5 here in the third set. It's 2 sets, 1 in the books for each team, a 1-1 draw, and Valley City State in what has been a very even third again. Another battle of attrition trying to pull away late, leading by 5. Timeout taken by the Blue Hawks. J.C. Richter serving. Out to the near side, Aubrey Allison puts one away for Dickinson State. We haven't seen a lot of Aubrey Allison in this third set, and that could be a problem for the Blue Hawks. They wanted to find the outside, they find her. And Aubrey Allison with her 11th kill tonight. Blue Hawks back within 4. They'll have Pallone serving. Back to get it, Annika Puliu. Back to the right, Lucas tipping around a block. That's going to score. Dickinson State's defense not ready for that. And the point will go to the Vikings, and the Viking crowd comes to life as we have another set point for Valley City State. So another set point for Valley City State, trying to make it a 2-1 lead here at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse tonight. Delaney Clark serving. He's sent back up. Kogelschak will set Sam Ose, who tips middle, and Ose is in the net. Point will go to the Vikings. Valley City State will take home the third. A late pull away by the Vikings will give them a 25-19 win here in the third set. We are on our way to set 4 with a 2-1 lead in favor of Valley City State. We have a timeout, and our intermission report is on the way coming up next, so do stay with us. Brought to you by Rambo. This is our coverage of Viking volleyball on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and newsdakota.com.
Orthopedic pain is limiting. It's unpredictable. And when it disrupts the way you move, it disrupts the way you live. Life is better when you feel empowered to move the way you want, when you want. And that's where our experts come in. We're your guides to orthopedic and sports medicine treatment options that can manage your pain, rehab your injuries, and restore your confidence. Take back the freedom to move. Explore your orthopedic options at Sanford Health.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. Let us help you become our next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
Welcome back to our coverage of Viking volleyball tonight. The Vikings take a 2-1 lead, winning the third tonight, 25-19. They win set 1, set 3 so far this evening. Another absolute battle of attrition for both these teams going on in that second set, rather third set. The Vikings pull away late to take the big lead in what was really a 1 or 2 point set either side. Let's take you through it. First of all, the player that we've watched tonight with a lot of angst from Dickinson State, Riley Kogelschak, getting a big play here on second contact, reading the defense creeping up. Just a very wise setter. Kogelschak watching the floor the entire way. The Vikings come back with Madden Bogenreef. My apologies, muscle memory there. Madden comes up with a play dumping to the middle on second contact. And you know what? That's not a play that we have ready for you, so let's go instead. My apologies on the replay, folks. Let's go to the last play of that set. This is a big play for Valley City State coming back on the outside. Danielle Hagler twisting out to the outside for the Vikings. We don't see her do that very often, but Danielle Hagler going out and knocking that one down. So the Vikings moving one of their middles to the outside, trying to be a little bit more deceptive and open something up that way. They do. And they make it a 2-1 lead for Valley City State over Dickinson State tonight after 3 sets of play. So we'll go to set 4. And you wonder what will happen here, right? Obviously, last night Dickinson State was in a 5-set battle. They were defeated in a 5-set battle last night. The Vikings would like to make it 4. Boy, you get a weekend sweep in the Frontier Conference. Those are going to stand up so big coming into the night. You can see the standings on your screen. There's Valley City State, 3-5, tied with Dickinson State. Looking to break a tie down there. When you've got 12 teams in the league, the closer you get to the middle, it affects some of those matchups that you're looking at when you get into tournament competition. The Vikings competed with Montana Tech, competed with Montana Western. So getting a sweep this weekend, big for positioning, but there's a long way to go. You got to go win one more set against a Dickinson State team that has lost 5 in a row, hungry to get in the winning column and had votes in the top 25 poll earlier this year. A tip by Emma Lucas off the right pin to start things off. Aubrey Allison winding up and getting through contact and score. One place that the Vikings just have not looked particularly sharp this weekend has been when they've been out of system like that. They really have not had good recoveries. Here and there they have, but it seems like some players maybe not sure where the defense is behind them, reaching back, making some extra contact. Here's Pouliou struggling to pass. Dickinson State takes a 2-0 lead early. And remember, in that second set tonight, the Blue Hawks led early, and the amount of energy that the Vikings had to expel just to even it up was a struggle. You don't want to let this get out of hand. Gale serving, low serve, pass comes that time from Danielle Hagler. Sent back over the net that time for the Vikings by Macy Frigid. Returned on second contact, Lucas getting away with the touch. Now up front into a joust. That one's going to be won by Dickinson State. Up to get it, Carmen Pallone. That's that physical play at the front row. Again, we talk a lot about that. Something we noticed out of the Frontier Conference teams down in Sioux City a couple of years ago. And really, going back in time, talking with Mark Pryor, the former head coach at UND when they won the Big Sky. Physical was what he talked about at the net. Not so much tall, not so much athletic. Physical. Wants them big, physical. Emma Lucas tipping. It's be covered by Kogelschak in the middle of the floor. Allison from the attack line. J.C. Richter there to make the play. Back to the near side, Frigid going deep. Covered back row by Gare. Up front, big play again, coming that time from Carmen Pallone. And the return coming from Frigid. Going to be touched as the call. Vikings going to get a point going their way. Dickinson State staff looks a little dismayed. I don't believe they think they touched the volleyball. Not a lot of a protest, but boy, the Vikings would have been down 4-0. You can see why the Blue Hawks disappointed to lose that point. That ball was headed out. Delaney Clark joust to the net, won by the Vikings, sent back to Valley City State, then missed tip by Emma Lucas. That's the kind of play that we're talking about is, okay, it's not going in sync. It's not a side-out type of situation. Pass, set, kill. Your reaction. That's a place where the Vikings haven't had as much confidence perhaps as they should over this Thursday and Friday. Ball set right side, Lucas getting off of contact. Taken by Gare out of the back row for Dickinson State. Ose attacking middle and scoring for the Blue Hawks. And the lead is already 4, and Michelle Micklejohn has seen enough. The Vikings are going to talk about a 5-1 lead for Dickinson State on our LaRue Financial scoreboard as we have a timeout taken by the Vikings. And so we'll do the same here at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. This is our coverage of Viking volleyball on NewsDakota.com and the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. Let us help you become our next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
Timeout taken by the Vikings as Dickinson State, with their backs to the wall, has opened up strongly. Sam Ose, a kill down the middle. And a big play by Carmen Pallone and a joust. 5-1 Dickinson State by 4 here in the fourth set. Pallone is in the back row serving. Delaney Clark struggling with a pass once again. Richter having to set up to the front row, and Lucas will get through. Emma Lucas from the right pin as J.C. Richter makes the broken play work. We'll talk with Michelle Micklejohn next week. We'll ask her about the passing for the Vikings tonight. Serve, receive, and passing this weekend. She might say kind of meh. There at times, perhaps not there at others. Aubrey Allison tipping around a block. Covered by Gracie Schumacher. Frigid going deep. Scoring? Nope, wide. Just wide over the far side. Had the back line, but pushed it wide. Dickinson State back up 4 by a score of 6-2. Riley Kogelshak in the back row for the Blue Hawks to serve. And the serve on the way, taken by J.C. Richter. Set back to the front row, and Ellie Lucas is blocked. The Vikings cover it. Lucas blocked again. Pair of blocks up front. Now it's Frigian on the outside, and a dive and cover by Kogelshak again out of the back row. Allison sending one across. Delaney Clark is there for the Vikings. Frigie gets blocked. A save by Delaney Clark. Big play. Gracie Schumacher free balls it back over. This will be a joust. Frigie spikes it down. Now Frigie gets it back and gets blocked on the return. Back to the Vikings. Frigian down the line. Missed it. Or is the official going to overrule? Yep, the official's going to overrule the line judge and say that's a Viking score. Macy Frigian will get a side out for it. Our R1 having a look at that on her sideline to the left, and she says, nope, that ball hit the line. Points at the spot, and the Vikings are back within 3 by a score of 6-3. Serve from Hannah Whelan. A run up front to get to it for Kogelshak, and Aubrey Allison around everything will score from the outside. Blue Hawks back up 4, 7-3. Football tomorrow. Valley City State at home to go up against Simpson University. They're called the Red Hawks. Those big crossover games. One on the road. The Vikings won 3-0 at Eastern Oregon last weekend. Now they come home trying to get the offense right. Pregame tomorrow around 1:30, and the kickoff will be at 2. Here on NewsDakota.com, VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. Sam Ose getting off the block. Sent back over in a free ball and punished by Kate Floyd. And the Blue Hawks are back up 5. Big lead that they had at the end of the second set. Now they've taken that lead here in the third early. It's 8-3 in favor of Dickinson State. Aubrey Allison to serve for the Blue Hawks. Allison serve, going to float long. Well, the Vikings were in this situation in the third set as well, where they needed to come up with a defensive play. They needed to come up with an answer of some kind. They did on a couple of occasions and fought their way back, and that led to them taking a big lead. Momentum shifts have not been frequent tonight, but they've been fast. Annika Pouliou serving, and this will be sent to the right side where it's too strong for McKay Albrecht. And one of the things that has led to momentum shifts have been Dickinson State mishitting some balls. Albrecht hit that one long. Lead cut to 3 at 8-5. Pouliou back to serve again for the Vikings. Run down by Ashton Egan, the libero, and a big play for Kate Floyd. Just hammers a ball from the left pin. 9-5, the Blue Hawks back up by 4. Got to get the side out here for the Vikings. You'll take 2 for 1 early in the set, but you got to get the side out. Wheeler serving. Good pass from J.C. Richter, a little tight to the net. Hagler pushing deep and scoring. Big play for Danielle Hagler. Hagler reading that back line and coming back after it. Vikings back within 3. Now here's where you need the block, and this is where you need Danielle Hagler to make a big play. Had 7 blocks last night. The Vikings could use 1 right here. Serve on the way from Annika Pouliou. Pass comes from Aubrey Allison. Back set right side. There is a block, and it's going to score for the Vikings. Off that right side, McKay Albrecht trying to get through on the pin. Good read that time. Bjornaby came out to double team with Hagler. They set the block, and it's 9-7. The Vikings back within 2. We're going to see Cameron Gow come into the matchup, a 5'10 sophomore pin out of Tabor, Alberta, Canada. So Gow comes in for the first time tonight. Serve on the way, Madden Bogenreef biting towards the middle. Aubrey Allison, another good pass of that. A block by the Vikings, sends it back over. It's covered. Off to Floyd. She's blocked at the net. Another huge block up front for the lady we just called for, Danielle Hagler for Valley City State. Boy, you need a play. The young lady out of Candu is ready for you. Danielle Hagler goes up and eats that one up. And that's one of those that can turn some momentum. The Vikings back within 1 by a score of 9-8. They were down 5 a moment ago. Up front, Pallone mishitting. Goes wide. The Vikings tie it up at 9 apiece. Like we said, momentum shifts haven't been frequent, but man, if they happen quickly in this matchup tonight. Vikings come roaring back to tie things up after 18 rallies on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Aubrey Allison down for a pass. Right side, Gow through contact. Madden Bogenreef makes the play. It's on the attack line. Bjornaby gets off a touch and net contact against the Blue Hawks. They're going to get Gao, who just came into the matchup. The Vikings lead 10-9. Fourth set, the Vikings leading 2-1. They won the first and third. And the Vikings coming back from down 5 in the fourth to take the lead here. Aubrey Allison the pass, back off to Floyd, winds up and scores from that right pin. Another big play for Floyd tonight. Dickinson State ties it up at 10 apiece, 20 rallies in to the fourth set. Even, right where it should be. But again, there was a burst of momentum for the Vikings. What has typically happened after that has been the team settling in for attrition volleyball once again. Here's a let serve. The Vikings send it back over with J.C. Richter. Right side slide that time, trying to bring Pallone out to the right pin. Bjornaby returning, firing into the corner. Molly Bjornaby will score to make it 11-10. Good twist of the offense that time. Carmen Pallone coming out to the right pin. We haven't seen her come out there maybe at all tonight for Dickinson State. Certainly not a lot. The Blue Hawks tried to turn their offense around. The Vikings were ready and got a piece and were able to come back and run the offense for the score. J.C. Richter to serve, let serve, net serve, error, tied up at 11 each. And this will bring Floyd out of the matchup. This is the first time I've seen Dickinson State, and you start trying to talk about who the most valuable player is on this team. And I guess the hallmark of a balanced team is that it's really hard to pick one. Up front, Hagler down. Danielle Hagler starting to kind of take things over for Valley City State here in the fourth set. Hagler with 12 kills after that. She's got 3 blocks tonight as well. Macy Frigin has 19. Morgan Frigi with 9 kills. Molly Bjornaby has 8. For Dickinson State, 13 kills for Aubrey Allison. 8 apiece for Carmen Pallone and Kate Floyd. But again, just kind of trying to judge it up for this Dickinson State team. If I had to pick a most valuable player, probably Kogelshak, but boy, I like Kate Floyd, what she does for you if you're a Blue Hawk fan. Here's a block at the net by the Vikings. Going wide, it's covered though. Blue Hawks able to get it back. Frigin powers through contact and scores. Macy Frigin with a big play for the Vikings to make it 13-11 Valley City State. And take a look at some of these players for Dickinson State. Pallone's a sophomore. Floyd's a freshman. I mean, these are young players. They're going to have a good lineup for a while. They can keep them together. Allison gets through a block and scores. Aubrey Allison powering through a block on that outside pin. And the Blue Hawks are back within 1 at 13-12. Allison, 14 kills, hitting .256 tonight. This will put Pallone back beyond the service line for Dickinson State. 25 rallies in, the Vikings up 1, now up 2 on a service error by Pallone. And you start to wonder here also at this point in the matchup, conditioning does become part of the conversation. Blue Hawks went 5 sets last night. They're on the road. So you go a lengthy match on the road last night. You get tested physically, certainly get tested mentally in that matchup. The Vikings went 4 sets and were at home last night. Can that be something that the Vikings use to their advantage? Schumacher serving, that might have been long, but Gare decided to play it. Back to the net, Kogelshak will send it over for Dickinson State. Set back to the near side, Frigin on the out. Good pass out of the back row by Gare. Ose attacking and scoring, Sam Ose. Sam Ose may be the underutilized weapon on this team. 8 kills now, hitting 200, but if you give her a set that she can work with, she can absolutely hammer the ball. Another one of those big physical players. And if you're watching this tonight, if you're a Viking fan and you're watching how Dickinson State's coming at you, you can see that in a couple of years of time for head coach Stormy Simeon, she's made the approach to what the Frontier Conference wants to be about in volleyball. That's the look that they want at the front row. Here's a service error coming from Riley Kogelshak. Lead back to 2 at 15-13. Athleticism is fine, but it really seems that, again, I might be speaking out of turn. I haven't seen a ton of Frontier Conference volleyball, obviously just a little bit here and there non-league before this year. But it seems like they'll favor the physicality over the athleticism if they've got everything else being equal. And McKay Albrecht going to get through and score here, coming out to the right pin to defeat a block for Dickinson State. And they not being just Dickinson State, they being the Frontier League. 15-14. Blue Hawks back within 1. 29 rallies into the third. Here we go again, like we said, attrition, right? The Vikings come storming back to take a lead after being down by 5. And ever since then, it's been a battle of attrition. Allison will serve. Delaney Clark went down to get it. Ball in the attack line. Bjornaby covered by Allison out of the back row. Would have been tight. Allison plays it. Floy from the outside. J.C. Richter able to dig that up. Back to the right side for the Vikings. Lucas taken out of the back row by Kogelshak. Here's Albrecht getting through contact and scoring. It dances on the net and comes down to the Viking line. And that net has not favored the Vikings all weekend. Every play into the net has gone to the opposition of the last couple of nights. That may sound like whining or complaining. It's not. It's just kind of, wow, how does your net turn in their favor over and over again? We saw it an uncanny number of times last night against Bismarck State. 30 rallies in on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. We are dead even at 15. The Vikings lead it 2-1. Serve from Allison's a let's serve. There's another that finds its way onto the Viking side off the net. Off to the far side for Floyd, blocked. A cover from Egan. Back to Floyd, tipping. This time Gracie Schumacher comes up to cover it. Morgan Freege's on the floor, slow to get up for Valley City State. Makes her way back in, off the right pin. Albrecht tipping. A dive from J.C. Richter kept it afloat. Bjornaby having to tip, put it into the antenna. And is Freege okay? She's walking gingerly over to the substitution zone, but she's not looking to come out of the matchup. She's going to send a towel in. She looks like she's in some discomfort, but she wants to fight through it right now. Michelle Micklejohn, the Viking head coach, not talking with her. In the meantime, Dickinson State beginning to turn the momentum into their favor. They now lead by a score of 16-15. And we'll see Aubrey Allison stepping back to serve for the Blue Hawks. Deep serve, too deep. Service error, the Vikings get one back. Tied at 16, Annika Pulju will step back to do the serving for the Vikings. Pulju's serve low, taken by Egan. Up front, Samos tipping. Pulju able to step into a pass, and it'll be a big play for Danielle Hagler, who comes up with a kill for the Vikings. 17-16, Valley City State by 1. 1 point lead for the Vikings in the fourth. Annika Pulju will step back to serve. Pulju serving, and we'll see Allison back to make the pass. Floy around the block. Richter got a piece of it. Pulju running over trying to make the call, and Schumacher free balls it back over to Dickinson State. Back to the right, Albrecht. Big dig from Gracie Schumacher. Now it's Richter trying to set. Lucas attacking. Back row taken by Allison. Back to Albrecht, blocked to the net, sent back over on first contact. Pushed back by Schumacher deep. Aubrey Allison ran it down. Oh, swinging, mishit it. Hit it wide. Lead is 2 for the Vikings at 18-16 here in the fourth. A couple of Blue Hawk errors here and there have been the difference for Dickinson State tonight in these types of situations. Serve from Pulju. Taken here, Aubrey Allison. Back off to Floyd. That one long. That's what we're talking about. Timeout, Dickinson State. A few that go long, and Valley City State takes a 3-point lead in the fourth. Leading 2-1, the Vikings lead at 19-16. We have a timeout on the floor. Mobility Plus Rehabilitation timeout. We've got more coming up in a couple of moments as we continue with Viking volleyball.
Looking for a college experience where you can get a degree and make a difference? Valley City State University is the top public regional college in North Dakota, as ranked by U.S. News and World Report. Visit today at vcsu.edu/visit.
Folks, the Frontier Conference wants to thank the following corporate partners for their continued financial support. BSN Sports and Nike, Cooper Tire and Tire-Rama, the D.A. Davidson Companies, Erk Hotels, Billings Clinic and Logan Health, McDonald's of Great Falls, Northwestern Energy, Pepsi and the Harrington Bottling Company, Snap Mobile, Winwan Technologies, and the Montana Army National Guard. Uncommon is calling. Don't forget to download the Frontier Conference app in partnership with Snap Mobile. The app is free to download. Search for FC Sports in the App Store on Apple or Google Play for Android. Vikings leading 19-16 over Dickinson State in the fourth, leading 2-1. Serve taken up by Ashton Egan. Back to the right, a block. Huge block. Molly Bjornaby getting together with Danielle Hagler to come up with a block for Valley City State. Huge play for the Vikings coming out of the timeout to get, and it's the youngster again, the freshman out of Grafton, North Dakota. Just an immediate shutdown of that right pin where Dickinson State twisted their offense. It's almost like the Vikings were in the Dickinson State huddle. They knew where they were coming. And here's another block, this time for Danielle Hagler solo. She has had a weekend. 9 kills, 7 blocks last night against Bismarck State. 2 huge plays at a key time in the fourth. The Vikings open up a 5-point lead at 21-16. Serve from Pouliou. Taken by Ashton Egan. Back off to the right. Big swing that's dug back. That time, rare opportunity to swing for Gare. Gare comes back out to the outside and swings again. Pouliou dug it up. Hagler tipping. A dive kept it afloat. Back to Gare, up and over a block. J.C. Richter runs it down. Bjornaby blocked to the net, and that's wide is the call. A blocking error by Dickinson State. Bjornaby another kill. She has made the most of every opportunity she's received here down the stretch since she came into the matchup against Montana Tech a couple of weekends ago. 22-16, the Vikings by 6 in the fourth. Pouliou serving. Up front, lightning fast, a block against Wheeler, who stepped into a front row position, and now Wheeler has a chance to score. 5'11" sophomore out of Great Falls, Montana, has been in a service position exclusively tonight until that swing. Blue Hawks turn it around, get back to within 5 at 22-17. Do the Vikings have a side out on them? Nope, a service error for Dickinson State. It'll work all the same. The Vikings 2 points away. Valley City State 2 points away from taking this one home. 23-17. The Vikings by 6 in the fourth. Need a stand here to try to put this into a match point situation. Up front, ball getting through some contact that time for Carmen Pallone. Bjornaby again pushing through a block and scoring. And the crowd loves the youngster as it sets up match point for Valley City State. 24-17, Valley City State trying to reel home a sweep of the week. Serve on the way by Pouliou. Taken out of the middle for Dickinson State. They'll go back over to the right, and Gare will get through and score. Taylor Gare, who's been in a back row position throughout the night uniquely, will come up with an opportunity to swing from the outside pin and score. The Vikings denied on their first match point opportunity. 24-18. The Blue Hawks will send Taylor Fisher back to serve. J.C. Richter, good pass. Bogenreef dumps on second contact and scores. And what a way to end it for the Vikings. Running away with a fourth set and with some authority at the end, just taking advantage of situations and putting this one home with the players that are going to make it happen tonight. And Valley City State ends it in 4 and defeats Dickinson State this evening. Your final score on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard will be the Vikings 3, the Blue Hawks 1, 25-22, 20-25, 25-19, 25-18. The Blue Hawks will fall to 3-6 in the league, 7-7 overall, and the Vikings will improve to 6-8 in the overall campaign, 4-5 in the Frontier Conference. We'll take a break and come back with our post-game report and wrap things up for the night on Viking Volleyball.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Laco Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue or Chase Carpenter at 701-845-6938. Securities offered through LPL Financial. Member FINRA, SIPC. Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on 3 major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
We aren't meant to be still. And while you determine the direction you'll go, we're just here to help you along the way. So go. Go with experience. Go with teamwork. Go with neighbors. Go with integrity.
Welcome back to the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse tonight. The Vikings celebrating a week sweep this evening, not a weekend sweep, but a sweep of the week as they win 2 4-set matches. Last night, Bismarck State. Tonight, Dickinson State. The Vikings playing better tonight than perhaps they did against the Mystics last night and fighting off a good challenge from Dickinson State, who's now lost 6 matches in a row. And the Vikings get back to within a match of 500 as they get ready for a big one coming up on Wednesday at Dakota State University this evening. But the Vikings get the win this evening behind a strong night finishing for Danielle Hagler and a big night all the way through for Macy Fridgen this evening. Molly Bjornaby, the young lady out of Grafton, finding her way into the numbers tonight as well. Perhaps her best match as a Viking. We'll go through some of the final numbers that we have in this one. Let's run through the highlights that we had for you throughout the course of the night tonight and show you how this match played out for the evening. First of all, going back to the opening set, the Vikings getting started with Macy Fridgen. Up by 2, looking for a play from Fridgen. Here's a broken play for Valley City State. They find Fridgen on the outside, up and over the block. That was the start of 20 kills for her coming up tonight. And then Morgan Freege at the end, able to push to the middle. That gave the Vikings a set 1 victory tonight. We go to the second set in this one, and here comes Molly Bjornaby getting her night started tonight through contact with a play from the attack line. But the second set belongs to Dickinson State this evening. Kate Floy showing you what she can do. She stuffs Morgan Freege on the right Viking pin here tonight. And then later, Aubrey Allison, who had a tremendous night for Dickinson State. Just a very quick termination from the outside for Allison. She was impressive. Dickinson State takes the second set tonight. We go into the third, and we saw Riley Kogelschek getting into the action. Second play, or rather second contact play, reading that back row well, coming up with a nice finish for Dickinson State. But the Vikings fight back. Madden Bogenreef reading a soft middle. Absolutely no one home. Madden Bogenreef would score, and then the start of Danielle Hagler coming on to finish this thing tonight. Hagler twisting to the outside pin there. Vikings win the third set, and then the fourth late, with the Vikings coming on to take a late lead. Danielle Hagler again teaming up for a block to try to turn away Dickinson State. She had a big night tonight for the Vikings, and the Vikings win it 3-1 this evening. Individual numbers for tonight. First of all, for Dickinson State, really nice night for Aubrey Allison. 14 kills, hit 256 tonight. 8 kills apiece for Sam Ose. Also for Carmen Pallone and Kate Floy. Carmen Pallone hit 231 this evening also for Dickinson State. As far as the other numbers away, 41 assists for Riley Kogelschek. She'll be in the running for setter of the week. She had 91 assists this week. She had 50 against Mayville State in the loss last night. 41 more assists coming up here tonight to go with 11 digs in that situation, and she also put down 6 kills. A complete night. 3 blocks tonight as well. Here's the line for setter for Dickinson State, Riley Kogelschek. 6 kills out of 8 attacks, hit 750, 41 assists, 3 blocks tonight, and 11 digs. And that's not a bad night for just about anybody. For Valley City State, Macy Fridgen hits 378, 20 kills and 37 swings for Valley City State tonight. Danielle Hagler hits 444, 13 kills tonight, also registers 5 blocks. Molly Bjornaby hit 167, but 10 kills tonight and 24 tries. See, she was also part of 3 blocks tonight. A great future. Morgan Freege had a nice week as well. 9 more kills tonight. She had 12 a night ago. Also registers a block tonight, and that's the way that it comes to the end for the Vikings this evening. Tomorrow, it's Viking football. They'll take on Simpson University and the Red Hawks. Our pregame coverage gets started tomorrow at 1:30 from Locken Stadium and Dakota Bank Field. 2 o'clock is the kickoff. The parade's at 10:30. We welcome back all the Viking alumni for Homecoming 2025 and celebrating 100 years of being Vikings. Remember, it's always a great day to be a Viking. The Vikings win tonight 3-1 over Dickinson State. For Viking Volleyball, I'm Ryan Cunningham saying so long, everybody.